Red Bull gives you wings.
Right, ito na! Ito na! Lalaban na ang T1 ulit! Laban ng T1 na naman, mga kaibigan. Laban na naman nila, guys. It's time! It is time, my dudes. It's time. Ay, mali. Wait. Yan. Tapos... Nakalimutan ko pala exit yung... Nakalimutan ko exit yung league ko. Mamaglag tayo eh. Cannot afford any lags. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Sana. Sana ang ating stream. Ayan. Okay. And that means let's go. Dinig naman ba? Dinig naman ba? Malinaw naman audio natin.
Back to the Verizon postgame interview with Ayla here after the game against TES. What was the gameplay? What was the mindset going into today? Because taking down
Grabe
the
yung
first
laban
team
ng
from
TS
the
saka
LPL, a lot of
100
people were
teams.
really confident.
Drug.
Yeah, and we definitely had a lot of a lot more
ng
confidence going
TS.
into this match. But yeah, I mean, we just
Winasak
knew we
nila
had to show up in the
yung
team
100
fights
teams.
and perform well.
Sin
but
walang awa,
we-
guys.
We didn't do
Sin-
as we
Yeah.
wanted.
I'm so sad
Zero
that
mercy.
didn't come out the way he wanted
No
to
mercy.
today. We've been talking
Sino
about the
nanalo?
best
Wala
about
pa.
Cream, his rise,
Yung
how
100 teams pa lang
unstoppable he
saka
was. Talk me
TS
through
yung
what made it
naglaban.
difficult
Kaka
for you.
pasimula pa lang yung sa
Yeah, I mean, Wise is
T1.
he's-
Pasimula pa
he's
lang,
a
guys.
powerhouse in the early game. He gets a lot of priority, really strong in the early skirmishes. And
Pa-start pa lang.
yeah, I just don't think we handled that well. They won a lot of the early fights.
Yeah, solid,
And then
solid.
I think that was a critical moment when he killed Quid on top lane. So that like
Nag-start na yung
basically
Genji, hindi pa?
secured the
Next
deal
match
for
yun?
us, 'cause
Yeah.
at World so far, there's a lot of throws at Arakan. So that was like a one way.
After ng T1 yun.
Yeah, he sealed the deal.
Yeah, Arakan seems to be a consistent issue for all the teams around the world during the year. But focusing a bit more about you guys, we've been talking about it multiple times. It hasn't been easy for you at all coming here at World. You made it here, but the practice and everything has been iffy. There's been a lot of interview where you guys were saying that practice, it's actually hard to know
FB.
what is
Oh my
working or
God, di
not.
ako
So
maka-
talk me through these difficulties, because
maka-scroll
when
down
you
sa
don't know
sarili
if
kong
what you're
page.
prepping is the right direction, how can you adjust on stage, especially with so
And
little
Genji
time?
after T1, 6
Yeah,
p.m.
I mean, scrims were a mess for a long time because we're
Aga nga na to. Ang bilis sa top. Ang bilis sa mga games.
But
Ang bilis sa
honestly,
mga games ngayon.
it was
As in,
bad for a while, and
sobrang
then when
bilis,
River
guys.
was almost here, I think we stepped it back. We
Mga
really figured out like
isa
how to
lang
play the game
so far
properly
yung na
and get on
umabot
the
ng
same
30
page. So
minutes.
I
Yung
think
first
even
series,
though we had,
first
like,
game lang
very
natin.
poor
VKS
scenes,
versus
I think
Fly.
we-
Yung KT
we
versus
really put together the
TSW,
team and figured it out,
28
so
minutes lang.
honestly,
Yung
I
MCOY
think we
versus
did
G2,
what we
28
could
minutes
with what we
lang.
had, yeah.
Ito,
Yeah,
26
absolutely,
minutes
and
lang.
You showed up
Durugan talaga,
yesterday when it
durugan.
mattered. Again, the first hit of the LPL.
Let's go, T1.
Defeating them,
Let's
regaining
go.
that confidence that I think you needed. Moving forward, let's manifest positive things. What are
Yeah.
you guys focusing on?
Yeah, I think we should try to get some more early game strength. I think both yesterday and today, we were like we're basically set.
By the way guys, kung
set to
gusto
be
niyo manood
behind the
ng
early game,
HD,
like a lot of losing lanes, a
dito
lot
lang.
of losing prior, hard to contest anything. So I think maybe like 1 or 2 more lanes that like can actually contest, so then we can fight. And you know, that's what we're known for. We're known for fighting. So just some more strength.
More strength, and of course, stay positive here. Thank you so much for taking the time and coming to talk to me today. I wish you a merciful draw for the rest of the day, and good luck into your next games. That's all for us here, and that let's head into T1 versus CFO.
Ganyan ko nga. Para ano. Hindi masyado nakaka-distract. Baka pwede pa natin i-edit onti.
Thank you so much, Lore, and of course, welcome back to the Analyst Desk for T1 versus CFO. And I'm pretty hyped about this one. CFO quickly rising over the course of the year. I feel like I've gotten more and more faith in this team going up against the Titans of T1. Technically from play-ins, but I feel like after yesterday that joke's old, but I might bring it up again if it's convenient for me.
Yeah, we have seen CFO a lot.
Lahat ba ng games stream ko? Let's see. Kung hindi naman tayo masyadong pagod. Saka yung mga scrims kasi mamaya, mga 9 pa. So I think kaya naman.
That's important to note because just because you show up to the international does not mean I will have more faith. You may have noticed with the LEC teams that might not be the case, but CFO you highlighted going to 5. We'll see how good that they are today. But yesterday they looked incredible, and it did come a lot from the top lane. The man himself, Driver, getting his hands on that Scion, looking like an absolute demon.
I mean, you talk growing confidence. Driver has been ultra confident, and a lot of it is just based off of seeing this lethal. Is crazy.
He already killed Poby. What's to say he can't kill Faker?
He knows. I think one of my favorite parts as well was this matchup of the Scion and the Xante. A lot of people favor the Xante. So often though, seeing like the Xante using the W, waiting for the Q to come out, and then the W timed out, and the smash came in anyway. That happened multiple times that game. It was so funny to see, and you can see he was loving that matchup, loving getting the chance to play that champ, which he's so proficient on.
That's the thing. It's funny because coming into this tournament, Driver, we talked about him like, oh, what champion he's going to play, because in domestic play, he's been expanding his pool towards more carries. But then you gave him Scion, he's like, I'm going to take Scion.
How is your afternoon so far?
About the mid lane position.
Hope you're having a good time.
Because we saw that at
MSI,
MSI, like you mentioned,
yes.
and everyone has been singing the praises of like Hongq, incredibly young, versus the old man Faker. Hongq, like feeling like a bit of a fan because like, okay, I'm going up against somebody that I've seen and watched play for so long. 18 versus 29.
So starting tomorrow, I think best
and at MSI, Hongq was the youngest player with Team Secret Wales qualifying. I believe it's his. There's a little bit of gaps. He's got a new young dog, but this is still the contrast in experience is incredible. But Hongq looking like potentially a new generational talent coming out of PCS.
And he's got a lot of international games under his belt. Like to get 27 at his age is quite a lot, but it just does not compare to the 300 that Faker now has, that mammoth amount. So it's always
best of 3 na starting tomorrow, tas 4 PM na yung start.
Difficult one to take on, knowing you're going against a player with some experience. But Hongq showed at MSI that he doesn't really care. Who he's up against, he'll bring his A game.
Yeah, I mean, Player of the Year for Hongq at the end of, for the LCP, Rookie of the Year, all this stuff. But then if we're just talking about from T1 side yesterday, there was one note that we should all remember, right, Ox?
Bin
Stuck pa rin ako sa ano,
Bin
40 marks. Hindi ako naglalaro kapag walang kasama
Bun.
Tapos kahapon, i-invite ako.
Ban Bard! Yes!
Let's continue that trend of banning Bard.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like for the carrier fans, you got to see him with his skin. You got to see a pick that, honestly, we got a benefit during the summer season. We didn't get any really in playoffs because other than the occasional game where teams let it through, because teams learned. Teams learned that you don't let carrier get barred. He's been putting on complete masterclasses on this pick.
So I think what we've learned, both these teams have hopefully learned and will respect on each other is maybe comfort picks are important. And maybe we shouldn't give players their signature or iconic picks, whether it's a Scion or a Bard.
Good lessons.
Some good. It's impressive how often we have to relearn those lessons. We'll see if we learn any other lessons.
By the way, guys,
today.
don't forget to take your vitamins if meron kayo. If wala, kahit
teams.
bilhin na kayo ng vitamin C.
Winner will move on to 2-0, start playing best of 3, see if they can qualify,
so far, sobrang effective
make it
nito sa akin.
to the next stage
At times
early on. Let's send it over to our casters to take us into this
kulang
game.
yung tulog ko,
Thank you very much for
stress
the live
talaga,
lessons,
tapos
Desk, as
pagod at
always.
lahat.
We'll be here with you for the next 4
Kinakaya
games.
ko.
Myself
Eh,
and Phineas.
yun.
I'm Mr. X if you didn't know, but
Really
this
effective.
guy's more important because this Welsh man is going to make sure that we're on top of the game, especially when CFO and T1 are playing. This is exciting. MSI rematch, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, how can we not be excited? So far, CFO have continued to surprise the world throughout this year, and I'm excited to see what they're capable of today.
Okay naman ba yung audio
It
natin?
feels
Okay naman
like,
ba?
though, that
Okay naman ba?
T1 have already
Dinig mo
ramped
naman
up.
sila,
This
diba?
is the scary thing. The conversation around T1, whenever it comes to the World Championship, right? Whether it's
So,
group
syempre,
stage or
ang boto
Swiss
natin
stage,
dito is
this
T1.
team
Wala nang iba.
only loses
Wala nang iba.
one game
T1 lang tayo, mga pre.
max.
True.
Right? Now, they've lost a game in play-ins. So the question
Anong
is,
region ng
now that the
CFO?
loss has happened,
Is it done?
Is it done?
Is
right?
it out of the way?
And this is the big question for T1. Are they
Well,
already
makikita
at
naman-
their
makikita natin
unstoppable
naman din.
point? Has the weakness window already passed? Or are there still opportunities for people to
Lalabas yun.
showcase something new in the draft? We're not going to have to wait long to find out
Yan.
as we jump in.
Well, for CFO, that's their chance. And a best of one, they listen to the desk and the bird is binned for the first ban of our draft.
Yan ang dapat mga kalaban nila.
Carrier not going to get his hands on that.
Mga kalaban
Jarvan also gonna
dapat
come
soon
through,
ng
along
Inferno
with
Esports kung
Leonara.
naka-qualify sila sa
Curious as to how
LCP.
this. Oh, the Azir going to continue to be on the ban board. Okay, directed
Sayang,
towards
no?
Honq, definitely one of his
Kung
more
yan ay mga
comfortable
kalaban mo.
champions. But I'm very curious as to like what this priority is going to be, because so far in this meta, we've seen, well, naturally we've seen a ton of Jarvan. We've been seeing a lot of Xin Zhao and Wukong. Even after the nerfs we've seen to champions like Wukong, it feels like that it's still super high priority in the jungle. Ryze has kind of become the mid lane champion alongside Orianna. Normally it's Orianna that's been making her way
Kasi meron
onto
din
the
akong
ban
stats
list.
ano nila
We'll see
eh.
if T1 looks to
Magawa ko
target that
na
champion right now
data sheet nila.
against Honq, or if instead they're going to leave it open in the hopes that they can maybe get a trade.
Well, with the Wukong off the board, you have to think it's like, okay, well, CFO maybe just want to get this Orianna first. And for Honq, who has been such a good laner and such a standout for CFO, give him something with a bit of presence against Faker when he is the baby himself.
Kasi yung audio
Would give him a head start. T1 see it, they get it off the board. So the mid lane bans, 2 in total.
So, Talia,
But that means the
Kai'Sa,
Ryze, we just talked about that.
Caitlyn,
Honq
open.
loves is just a freebie here.
Nocturne open, Orianna open,
See
Syndra
what their first
open,
pick is.
Ryze open.
Whether it will be the Ryze, whether it will be an AD carry.
Ano ba high
I mean,
ano ba
we've seen
high
all
prior?
manner of first picks.
CFO ginamit ng
Junglers
CFO kahapon
included,
kasi
but with both the Jarvan
na
and the Wukong
well
gone,
Sion
it
for
feels like the
driver.
Ryze becomes the most
Shinzo
obvious
siguro first pick nila
priority
sakali.
Yeah.
Or Nico.
Unless there is an AD
Kung gusto
carry
nila ulit
that
mag-ganon.
perhaps CFO want to get
Mag
their hands
same
on.
type ng
They're going to stick
or
with
Ryze.
convention.
Nag-Ryze
This does
kahapon
suggest
si
that T1
Honq eh.
could lean towards
Maganda naman ang
something
performance niya,
along the lines
229 yung
of
score
the,
niya.
Talia for Faker, the kind of very
Kumbaga,
common answer.
pan-damage yung
And
talaga,
it's kind of
pan-teamfight
the
lang, pero not really
unfortunate
fishing
situation
for
that we find
kills.
ourselves in with
Tapos
the
katapat
best of
niya nun,
ones where
Talia.
it
So,
feels like that the
anyway,
established
actually,
meta
good na
has kind of
performance
been
yun.
resolved for Worlds so far, at least in the Swiss stage. So we're seeing a lot of the same stuff that we've been seeing throughout the tournament. But
This
this
as
is
well.
a bit of a change-up.
I mean, this has just been this rising pick that's come out of left field. I think the most surprising pick for me is this Caitlyn, because so many teams are looking at this in early pick and bans. And we've seen so many strong laners. And when I think of Guma Carrier, I think of a strong 2v2. And historically, I think of how that Caitlyn as well shaped the journey back in 2022 as well.
Absolutely. I mean, they can even get themselves the Nico right now if they
Nag-Caitlyn
want
ba
to.
yung
If they want
T1
to
ng
guarantee
play?
themselves
Yata,
that strong
hindi sila
bot lane
nag-Caitlyn.
duo. But they could be arguing, now that we've
Severe,
already got the
Misfortune,
Caitlyn, there's nothing that you could pair
Lunara,
the Nico
tapos
with
Ashe.
that we really need to be
Bihira ko
concerned
lang
about.
makita
So instead, we're
mag-Caitlyn
going
to
to
si
lock in
Gumay.
our
Pero
vibe. You
madalas sa
expect
mga
the Talia
lives
to
niya,
be the third pick
nag-Caitlyn
coming
naman
through
siya.
for Faker, and then
Baka siya
T1 can
mag-Caitlyn.
round out
Pero
their draft with a
bihira lang
support
ni
counter
gamitin
pick,
talaga sa
potentially.
tournament.
Especially given that there are still a number of safe blind top options. So how will CFO respond? I've been suggesting to you that I think things like the Ashe and the Jinx could be good answers into it.
But if we're talking about safe blinds as well, just a quick side note, I mean, as the Kiana
Hindi ko
gets locked
almost
in,
same
you
draft
talk
ba
about things
sila?
like the Sion. Yesterday, the Sion was so
Pag
good
ito
for
na
Driver,
biglang
True.
our
nag-pick,
MVP of CFO's best of
nag-B3
one.
sila ng...
And if there's any champion to just safely lock and say,
Nag-B3
okay, forget
sila
about
bigla
bot, it
ng
wouldn't be
Nico.
that Sion. The alternative,
Pwede sila mag-Nico dito eh.
the feeling
Maganda
that we
eh.
might get might be
Kasi
something
madalas
like
kapag may
the Nico
Ryze,
themselves
parang
as a
nakaka-tempt gumamit ng
takeaway.
Nico kasi pwede mo gamitin yung
Team
Realm
can
Warp
just
mo,
match it
yung
straight
ulti ng
away.
Ryze,
There's
tapos
some good suggestions, but
biglang
That was a
pa-blossom
good
na lang ng
prediction
Nico.
there, Hysterics,
So
and
baka
an obvious
ipaprayo
one
na lang
that I
nila
should
yung
have
Sion kasi
expected
baka
because,
ibandito ng T1.
I mean,
Isa
the
sa mga
man is
favorite ko
named
kasi
after the
ni...
champion.
He is.
Isa to sa mga
Driver
favorite ni
is a
Driver. Yun yung
well-known
ginamit niya
Sion
kahapon eh.
expert, and we've seen him. I mean, it's one of those things where you think, okay, we can afford to give it to him, but this man's been
Nagsayon
solo
din kahapon si
killing some of
Driver
the
Tapos
best
maganda yung
players from
performance niya.
around the world all through the
Tapos
year.
pre-game, ginawa na yung
Like,
parang
the man has
nagpanggap
been
siyang
on a
sayang.
tear.
Ganun siya.
I mean, yesterday, that was 100 Thieves top laner.
So, nakawin na lang yung
Oh my
ni Nico.
god, dude, too excited about that.
Nakawin na T1 ni
He
Nico.
solo killed
Sherwin CFO? Huwag naman, T1 tayo, pre.
He did get two solo
tayo.
kills. He did get it onto a Cassante, and he got it onto
Always
a
gonna be
I don't know
Taliyah.
how I got too confused. Sorry, everyone, but I'm just obviously hyped by the Sion players. They've been more exciting than meets
So,
the
ban
eye.
Karma.
The Nico, of course, gets locked in alongside in that 2v2 as well.
Might be
for
wise
T1,
to ban
so I think
Alistar.
you're in carry on priority.
Now they're banning out the range support.
I think it's gonna be wise to ban Alistar.
That can go into
Para
it.
sa T1.
T1 very much
Renata
playing
din.
towards the bot
Kasi
side. Now, CFO
pag
have
sumugod din
options
yung
of
Vi,
either
tapos sumugod din
mitigating
Nico,
the
pag
mid
nag-Renata
lane
ult,
which
hassle
seems to be the
talaga.
direction that they're
I
going.
think,
The problem is,
yeah,
of all the
Renata
players in
has
the
to be
world
taken away.
to try and
Pag
limit
na
the
pala yung
pool off,
Alistar, Renata na lang.
this is not the man who
May front na yung
you
CFO eh, baka hindi na sila gumamit ang tank.
Of course, getting rid of Taliyah just makes a ton of
Kasi
sense.
since
When
Nico
paired
yung bot
alongside
lane,
the Vi, the
mukhang
knockback, the
ganun
combo that they can create, it
Masyadong
makes a
hassle
ton
yung
of sense.
hostile
But we know that
takeover.
Faker is going to have
Nauna Nico
options
Rice
available
combo.
to
Oo
him,
eh.
whether it be a safe control
kinuha
mage or
na,
something
kinuha.
aggressive to pair
Leona,
alongside the
oo
Vi.
eh.
I'm sure he'll be able to find something in his pool.
Bagay.
As T1
Hassle din naman
continue
yung engage
to
ng
limit
Leona.
the bot lane options.
Then sila
What
yun ang
will
magiging
Doggo
initiator nila kung sakaling
go
Solar Flare,
for?
tapos sugod
I
na
mean,
yung Sion,
Doggo
sugod yung
has an
Kiana.
extensive repertoire. If they want to play something very safe, they could consider something like the
Pero
Ezreal.
Renata open para
Very long
sa
range, can safely farm in lane.
sa
You're still going to
CFO.
get pressured in, but I feel like when playing up against the Nico,
Ang best sa
there's not
ban
much that you
is
can do to
okay,
stop
pero
I
that.
feel like maybe
pwede naman
this
mag-Mordekaiser
would end up
dito yung
being a
T1
lane
eh.
swap game with the way
Kanina
that lane's
nakakita
set
na
up
tayo
as
ng
well, having
Mordekaiser
Sion on your
versus
team, like,
Sion.
this
Yung
could
Fly
just be
Quest,
the
dinurog
option
ni
to get
Buipo
CFO's
si
bot lane
Boal.
through early, as you said, safe fading
Kung gusto
carry
nila mag-Mordekaiser,
question,
pwede
but now
nila
we get
gawin
to see
yun.
a solo lane
Though
from
we,
T1.
we don't
Got
really
both mid
see
and top already
Doran
picked
pick
up,
up
so just a
Mordekaiser.
preference here.
At least that much.
Compositionally, as
Or ever.
talk about Faker's
Ako
depth
wala
of
pa ako
pool.
nakikita game na nag-Morde siya.
But it is
So
going to
baka
be
Rek'Sai
Doran
na lang.
who goes into the tank matchup. And we've seen
Either
this
Rek'Sai
into
or
the Cassantes,
Cassante.
into the Sions, into any tank in top,
Ay,
just
no.
simply with the true damage
Kung
and
makakita
the
sana
ability to
ng
trade early.
Kasi ako baka pag may mag-ace
Talked
oo
about some
naman!
of the options that I was discussing with you that
I
could
don't
be
think
good
we'll
for the
ever
Caitlyn
see
was the
Aurelion
Ashe.
Sol be picked up in Worlds.
Or would you then consider pairing up alongside it? But I think the thing about Ashe is while she doesn't have the
I
best
don't think so.
mobility, the pick potential that she has and how she can
I can
synergize with
only
both
hope,
the Kiana and
pero
the
hopeless
Ryze,
yun.
the fact that she has long range herself gives her a ton of options to be able to play
Malabo,
relatively
guys,
safe in the laning
malabo.
phase.
Hold.
Through 80
Oh! Okay.
Draven.
So was that an option?
I was not expecting a
Wala yung
Draven to
Mordekaiser
come
oh.
through. But this is the beauty of CFO. They're not afraid to throw down the gauntlet,
No, man.
even
Grabe
against
yan,
one of the greatest organizations of all time.
So, burst damage, pure burst damage
The hover of the
ang
Alistar,
CFO.
that's a scary
Kasi
hover,
maganda
man,
yung
because, like,
Alistar.
against Nico,
Alistar is
this an
really good because you
impossibly
can
difficult
push
bot
back
lane
the
to
Vi.
play. But
And
if
that
you land
prevents
that
like,
combo
the
onto
entire
Caitlyn,
engage.
Are they really going to lock in Alistar?
So
Alistar
far,
with
there's
the
not
Draven.
much front line on T1, just the Vi and the Rek'Sai. They don't really have that much
Yeah.
burst potential as well.
And then
More, they're more
Cassio
on
around
relying
for Faker.
on
I mean,
DPS.
it's a very good pick into the Rise, of course. It can also work
Cassiopeia.
nicely once the CC comes down from the Vi.
I
You
think
have
second
plans to follow
Cassiopeia
up
na
now,
natin
your
to
opponent can't flash away.
Yeah.
sa
I mean,
Swiss
I
stage.
will say, CFO's
Ako meron
composition
tayong
on
Cassiopeia
paper,
kahapon.
like,
eh.
look at the
Yung
skirmish
AL,
power
ginamit
that
nila
it has.
Cassiopeia against
Kiana,
Hanwha
Ryze,
Esports. Nung
Draven, like, in the
naka-upset
2v2s
sila
and the
sa kanila.
3v3s, this has so much agency, and if it gets just a little bit ahead,
Ba't nga may
it can
mga-
really run away with the game.
Ulit nga may mga
But
nagalit na
T1, they have a lot of range at their disposal.
Casters
They have a
naman
lot
mismo
of
nagsabi ng
counter
upset.
engage too, thanks to the
Pinost ko
Nico
lang.
ultimate. They've got a decent
Sinabi
amount of
mo.
dive, but I will say the comp kind of goes a little bit all over the place because
Yeah,
you've got
tell
this
me
Vi that kind of wants to go into the
Votings
backline.
nila, ano eh.
Naturally, the Caitlyn and the Nico want to be playing from range.
Expectation
They're already
nila,
leveraging that range to their advantage.
HLE
Cassio wants to
mananalo.
hit whatever target is in front of her, and while they do have a tank in the form of Doran, I don't think it creates
If I spend
the same
esports
level
kaya
of
nandyan,
space
may chance
that
kaya
a
na
Sion does. Because Sion will
maka-select
stand
sila.
there, he'll walk at your
I guess
front line,
against
he'll posture
LCP
and just be a
teams,
nuisance
pwede.
and kind of force you to say,
EU
hey,
and
you have
NA
to hit
teams,
me,
pwede
otherwise
din.
I'm going to CC you.
Pwede
and I would
rin.
argue that Rek'Sai doesn't quite have
May
that same
chance.
presence. He's got a little bit more backline presence.
But I
because
don't
of
think
his
they'll
ability
have
to tunnel
like,
underneath the front line
like
and pairs up nicely
the
alongside
best
the Vi.
performer. Pero
But I
sobrang
feel
galing
like
yung sobrang
like
galing
if the
ng
80 carries had swapped,
West Point.
I feel
Yung
like
academy
they would
team
make
nila.
more sense
I agree with that.
in a way. Because Caitlyn wants that really comfortable front
Maganda
line.
kapag makatry
What I
sila.
will say is that this
I
bot side
don't
of the
think
map
they
is
have
gonna be
ever
volatile. We have to keep
scrimmed
our eye
with
on it.
the likes of
Junglers will be
T1.
setting their sights on
Mahirap
bot lane.
makakuha ng
Top is an island that we
nila.
don't
Kailangan
care
sikat ka
about.
talaga.
Forget the top lane. Let's
Kasi
focus on bot.
mas-
Welcome to Summoner's
Mas
Rift.
panalo
The
yun sa
CFO T1
makikipag-scrim sa kanila kaysa sa
both
T1.
ending the first day of their Swiss stage with a win. Fnatic for CFO and FlyQuest for T1. T1
All right,
fans
let's
are out
go.
and about just like they were yesterday.
T1
For
versus
this Worlds, we're talking
CFO.
about earning legacies. We're
By the way, guys,
talking
let me know in the
about
comment section who
really
you think
building
is
a
going to be
name for
winning here in
yourself.
this
T1
game,
have done
CFO
that
ba or
back-to-back.
T1?
They've done that through
Possible kaya
multiple
maging
years
venue ang
of League
Worlds
of
dito
Legends.
sa
They are
Pilipinas?
synonymous
No.
with League.
I
But
don't think so.
CFO this year have really built up their legacy, dominating the LCP,
Ay!
showing that they're the best team by
Si-
far
ano ba yun?
without
Philippine
a country
Arena?
mile,
Pwede.
maybe
Philippine
two country
Arena?
miles thrown in between them.
That would be
and
the
Team
main
Secret
place
Wales.
kung sakali. Pero
And just showing how good
Not
their
sure.
individual players are. And one of them is Junja,
I-
who in the finals pulled
never
out this
has it
Kiana
been
and
like
destroyed
there never was
TSW.
a Worlds
He gets the
tournament here.
Kiana
I
pass
think
from me. I think this guy is one of the
kung
best
bumalik
Kiana
yung
junglers that
popularity
you'll
ng
see.
League of Legends dito sa Philippines ng sobra-sobra talaga,
Q is the player
maybe there's a
that
chance. I think they're
many
basing it off
CFO fans are
on
excited
popularity
about,
kasi
but
siyempre popularity
Junja
means revenue.
is
Popularity
really
means
kind of the
viewership
star of
or
the
like
team.
on-site
He is a
viewership
fantastic player.
appearance sa mga
He
tao,
runs
sa
the
mga
region.
nag-attend.
His jungle impact,
And of course,
we can't afford to underestimate.
If
but
maraming
Honda
mga
is already
pupunta,
looking to
maraming
get in his
magsispend,
face.
and
A
if
deep
they
ward
spend a
early.
lot, then it's
Junja's
revenue.
here to fight him.
There's going to be good damage here as well. Just wait for that
Eh,
Terra Shake
ngayon,
to
syempre,
pop up. He's
China,
already got himself the Q,
it's
remember?
really
Raptors starts
esports
off now.
is really
Junja's
good
going to
there.
take some damage. Owner's buying time, and there's no intervention yet.
Di mo nga dimagasam
Faker's
si-
ready to walk over
si
almost
Doran.
level 2 on the wave. And
Ayoko nga na
his ability to
nag-Rek'Sai
duel
siya
this
eh.
out could be Junja's unending. but
Rek'Sai is
Owner's
good,
extended
pero
rush still on a ward. Remember, these
it's
are
not
his
really gonna
cans.
dominate against
Junja
Zion.
takes one away the first. That's
Honestly
the first
think
bit of
that it's
CS
better
in the game for the
to
junglers.
pick up something
And
like
Owner
Mordekaiser
backs
to work
off.
already.
Scared
a
about
while
the damage
ago.
that could be done in the 2v2.
The reason why this is so valuable
One
is
zoned out
because
pa
as you
si
predicted,
Owner.
Hysterics, the swap has come through from CFO. They've actually sent the Draven up towards the top side of the map. But Draven, while he can be super dominant in the matchup, he's
pala natin makikita
vulnerable.
yung-
He doesn't have that same safety as an isolated AD carry as many other AD carries do. So by creating this split map, sure, it does increase the risk on the bot side of the map of T1 threatening a dive, but it also provides that safety that Doggo needs to build up a lead and be comfortable.
Pero
in the
guys, kung
early
gusto nyo
lane.
manood ng HD dito.
Junja, I mean, if we want to speak about comfortable, Doggo's going to feel good if he lands a couple of these
Waiting
axes.
HD.
Doran's going to go in, get the trade under turret, but again, with the stand
Hassle
aside,
din yung
Doran,
shot,
that's
basag
3
si
autos.
Doran.
As he walks back
Pero may
up, he
sustain
will
naman
heal
siya,
some of
kaya-
it, but not all of it. So,
Yeah,
comfortability in
it's
this
gonna be
lane, again, as the hovering from Junja continues, he's cleared
Sobrang
the whole
nauso
of the
talaga
top
yung
side of
Rek'Sai.
Owner's jungle. He will now try
May
and
time din dati na
reinvade his
ginagamit
own
na yan,
and get in
especially
the way.
Junja's on his way. Junja is
Eh,
on
literal-
his way.
Pina-fighter
Level 2
bit pa
owner
ako
carrier has to come
pero
across.
top
This is
lane
a
nila.
smart
Pero
move
nung-
from the bot lane. Junja
especially
has
there's
arrived though, but I don't think
more
he's going to be quick enough.
attention
No, he's
towards
not.
As Owner
unending
secures
despair,
the
mas
smite, gets that
ginamit na
level
nila as
3.
tank.
Owing's only level 2, can't really do too much and won't commit the flash to follow up.
Kasi
Carrier
mahirap
goes back to
mag-Rek'Sai kung
lane, so
patatak mo gamit
Junja
mga
gets the
Fiora,
Krugs, and remember for
ganyan.
him, he's still got a little bit of resources in all 3 camps up in that
Gwen.
top side with Scuttle too. So for now, Owner's just got to go reclaim and get back in this game.
So what's
They're actually
happened
doing a
is
really
it's
good job
made it difficult
against Rise.
for
Kasi sa mga OG
Owner
matchups
to
though,
have
Rise
early game
versus
impact,
Cassiopeia.
specifically on the bot side of the map. But
Cassiopeia
Owner,
normally wins in
he's a
terms of
jungler
range.
that's difficult to keep down.
Pero maganda
And
sa
you'll
Rise
see that
kasi,
he's looking to get the double crabs.
malaki naman din
Kyle
chances
worked
ko na
with Junja, though, to
makaiwas.
guarantee that
Problem
that
lang,
doesn't happen.
since you basically
And it's
spam
just
your
a great
spells, every time you
interaction
spam
between
or
two
use any of
high-level
your
junglers right now
spells
is
or your
it's Junja.
abilities, haharap ka.
Doggo! He just solo killed
Doggo solo
Doran.
ball.
We need to get a
Ooh.
replay as Doggo starts off the game with a solo
Let's
kill.
look at another lane. Hang on, baby Faker into the real one. Has to walk away. Faker's going to slither out. The
Oh,
man is down.
Doran.
But hot damn, what
Oh,
the hell just
Doran.
happened, top?
My goodness, let's look back at this. So he's about 50% HP right now. Doggo smartly, as Doran comes into last hit these minions, lands those auto attacks while dodging away from the tower shots. Another auto attack comes through. I mean, at this point, you'd think Doran is just going to go back to base. Oh, the tunnel gets interrupted.
Oh.
Beautifully played by Doggo.
Oh.
I don't know what he cashed in the end outside of 300,
Hindi
but he
naman
got
ka-
money.
I
Ooh.
can tell you right now, he is sitting on...
Doran made like
Well, he's
the
got a big
biggest
sword, so
mistake
he's
in
sitting on
top
that.
lane. You don't have to
And
pick up your CS. Ang pinaka-importante lang is magkaroon ka ng XP. Like every good top player would say that. XP lang importante. Kung weak side lane ka, weak side lane ka.
Going back to lane with the BF sword.
Pero mas valuable yung buhay mo kaysa sa
you will too.
Sa gold. XP lang yung kailangan mo.
Way pushing the driver.
The thing that I wanted to try and break down earlier was just
he
how,
screwed up.
First of all, Junja's early pathing
Ngayon,
made it
paldo na yung
difficult
Draven.
for Ona to really punish this bot side. Because Caitlyn, Nico, very scary early game. Right?
BF sword ka agad oh.
HP in the lane swap.
Boots pa lang si Gumayo.
Tapos
ngayon sila magtatapat.
But because Ona had to
yan.
adjust his pathing so often in the early game, that threat really didn't happen. Meanwhile, Doggo on the top side of the map was able to find a solo kill, so now he comes back into lane, ahead in gold.
Nag-re-excite
This
kasi
means that this
agad.
Caitlyn is not going to have the same type of pressure that you normally expect.
Yun
So
sayang.
CFO set their early
Baka
game
naman
up
kayanan niya.
beautifully
Tingnan natin.
against T1, and now they just need to transition this early
Sabihin
game into
hindi
a
malawak
solid
champo
mid-game,
lata
and
ni
make sure
Doran.
this
Hindi
Caitlyn
malawak.
doesn't run too rampant as we head into that mid-game point.
I mean, it is Gumayushi, and I see him on Caitlyn, and thinking about him with Death Days as well. They're a strong AD carry. Doggo now level 6 as well, so the Whirling Death up and available. The threat onto Guma as he's only 5 will help Junja secure this first strike of the game.
One
CFO,
kill,
as we
one
said, they're
objective.
also off to
Man,
a
lugi ang
whirling
T1
start.
kagad
Beautiful play. Ona's going to face check here, but he knows Junja at half HP. Going into a shroud, okay. Gets over the wall. Ona thought maybe he's going to come out, but he managed to scoop over the wall. Get his edge of Ishtal just in time.
Some nice trades coming through from the Tier 1 bot lane as Ona.
Ay nako,
Around mid lane, not
Doran.
gonna see too much happening. There's not many camps to fade right now as Cromp is respawning soon. So we expect him to path back towards that bot side of the map.
Ayun,
as
lamang
resets
naman siya sa
kind of
CS
across
eh.
the board are happening. Both
Malamang
top
din
laners
naman
find
siya sa
themselves
CS
behind
eh.
farm kind of as we expected from the swap, but I think drivers a little bit
Na-out-sustain
happier
naman
about
niya
it
sa akin
considering
kahit
he
anong
didn't get solo
mangyari.
killed. The biggest advantage that Team 1 has gained in the early game.
Maraming champ siya pero hindi kumbaga parang kaya gamitin pero hindi niya master ganyan.
And you can see that discrepancy between the AD carries and
Kumbaga
the
parang
carrier with that early advantage.
kaya lang
just because
gamitin.
the plating. Doggo with that advantage with the kills that he's got. But now both supports are unlocked on the map because Kaiwing was roaming so much early with Junja to help him secure those early camps. It does mean that Carrier will reach that level 6 point ahead of him, and these grubs timings are important. 30 seconds away. Carrier is hovering around the mid lane, wanting to get that extra bit of experience. Because once he gets that ultimate, it's going to be a very difficult fight if CFO try to contest.
But before we get to the grubs, now we get to the invade again. The timing beautiful from Junja. It's level 6 versus 5. Ona's in trouble. He doesn't have a leg to stand on, but the ulti hits at the edge of the mark. But Ona has already flashed and now lost his red. Carrier came to support once again, but he's an edge too far, a moment too late. As CFO on the grub spawn now, Ona's racing for 6.
For the grubs. Would put CFO in a dangerous position, but right now they know they have the advantage. You'll notice on the mini-map, Driver has already rotated up towards the mid lane, so they can guarantee those numbers. He doesn't have his TP available, so he's just going to lose that farm on the bot side of the map, but they've got the one grub. Can they secure the second as Faker now makes his presence known?
Junja keeps pulling up this ice element as well, so we'll have a stun if he does it again. Ona's on the way in, 600 now, waiting. And it's a double grub situation. Okay, maybe for the third. Is Junja being greedy? No. They get all three in the end. It's Ona, excuse me. He came in to get the steal, but he'll die for it with Doggo getting a cash in. It's a nice petrifying gauge from Faker, but an exit now needed as Hongq cuts it off, forces a flash from the goat. He's caught out, decimating smash, and CFO come alive against T1.
CFO waste no time. 3 kills on the board, a 1k gold lead. Doran is getting some plates in the bot lane, but the momentum is going the way of CFO.
And on Junja, we believe, because again, like we saw in the LCP finals, this guy encounter's not too bad. Hongq's found out in rotation. He'll get phase rush, he'll get out of there, but Doran finds his brain, jumps in, but maybe too deep from him. Hongq flashes over. It's matched by Doran, but Junja looking for the trade kill. Will find his mark over the wall as well, and Doran just trying to run on out. A tunnel used, but Junja again can Terra shape. But there's another tunnel. There's always another tunnel.
Doran getting T1 on the board at the very least. Finding a solo kill onto Hongq. Taking some of the wind out of the sails of CFO as they were running away with the early game. My goodness, that tower is now very fragile on the bot side of the map. But let's look back at this play. Ona, he just oversteps. He walks up to a place that he just doesn't have really any control over, and the fact that Driver's sacrificing a lot on the bot side just to have that extra body meant that CFO could force this fight. They know that they've already secured that first kill. They know they have the numbers advantage. Doggo collapsing from the top side of the map as well, forcing the flash out from Carrier, means that they pick up 3 kills off the back, or 2 kills off the back of that. But then Doran, spotting out Honkyu, knows he has the level advantage in the extended trade. He knows he's going to win out, commits the ultimate, and even with the arrival of Junja, it's not enough. If he'd had the ice to root Doran in place, maybe there was an opportunity for outplay.
Yeah.
But he procs one tunnel, and that's the thing, the red Q from Junja
May
quite
tunnel
have
pa siya
enough
dun,
damage to secure that pickup onto Doran. So we check the state of the game. The gold difference, not that significant. You can see a lot of the gold advantage sitting on Doran and Faker, who's been building a healthy CS lead in the mid lane. Meanwhile, AD carry and jungle for CFO, my goodness, they are strong.
They are indeed, aren't they? Doran's just going to do what tanks do best. Skywing takes a big trade, it's heavy.
Masakit na rin si
Holding on to the ace in the hole for now, but there's a Volt break in Honkyu. Face checked and he'll be punished for it. Miasma on the ground, nowhere to run. And Ona is back in the game.
An easy gank setup by T1. Face check there from Honkyu,
Hindi nga lang
easily
si Faker
punished.
yung nakakuha ng kill.
This is the scary thing about T1, they will punish those mistakes now.
Second dragon, papalag na yung
It's a
T1.
difficult contest for this dragon.
Hindi nila pwede bigay yung objective dito sa CFO eh. Pick of strength na sila niyan.
They can still contest this. Doran has come down from top side.
He's also got ice as well. Supreme display of talent will find
Oh,
one, but
nakuha
goes
ni
still on
Guma.
the dragon. That's up for Gumayushi. And as they take it, they run away as Driver has decided to launch into Doran.
Tagal ng stun kay
He's
Doran.
just an instant blocker, and T1 walk away with the win on objective.
The Rise ulti, the Rise ulti.
We are going in. Driver
Inantay lang nila mawala yung knock-up. Ganda ng timing ng CFO. Inantay lang nila mag-unbarrow.
Double over to Junja, and what a realm warp that was.
They were not expecting that. CFO, they TP'd Honkyu into the fight, and I thought, this is too late. You're wasting your time. But I got caught off guard. T1 got caught off guard as they throw the Rise ultimate into mid lane. Driver was just the bait. Two more kills secured now for Junja.
Using it on the one item
Lagi
the
nakaka-steal
Bloodburst, the
objective.
Profane Hydra, that damage, that burst is immense. And T1 felt the full fang of it.
So you'll see the TP come through, and I'm thinking to myself, the Dragon's already done. What's the point of TPing in? Maybe he can catch this bot wave. They rotate their AD carry into mid, but they notice Faker and Doran overstep trying to punish Driver, which means an easy collapse can come through. Cassio gets one shot, lands a good ulti onto Driver, thinking maybe he could trade one back. But my goodness, Junja, you talked about his performance in the finals. It feels like that we're seeing another fantastic performance from him. A 1.1k gold lead and a 1k gold lead for Doggo as well.
This guy on these days of EDG, Vetti, I didn't get to cast him enough because of course he was behind some legends at the time of the World Championship squad, but there was a reason this #1 Chinese solo queue player was so sought after, even being on a bench for a bit. Faker might be in trouble here though, just coming up again. He's really earning it this time around. The 3-0 Kiana knows that Faker's into a corner. Pop Blossom helping out. Carrier's flashed in. Maybe there's a turnabout play. Junja has to hold the in. Jumps to Faker, but he gets
good
shot
down.
down.
Kay Faker na punta
Carrier
yung gold.
saves the day. It's a double TP, but there's more numbers here for T1 as Driver has walked into the ongoing trap. Honkyu now walks into range of Ona, and CFO had control, but they're relinquishing it. A triple kill to the slippery snake of Faker. And T1 punished so damn well as Gumayushi gets flashed on.
Yun lang.
Doggo's still got the
Tinamsapan ka pa, boy.
3-0 on the Draven. He needs to step up.
Okay, the gloves are off. T1 are fighting back, and CFO's aggression gets punished. An ultimate from the mid lane to allow for Doggo to continue his push. I don't know how much longer he can stay on the map, but Faker getting a triple kill brings him right back into the game. A 1.8k gold lead, and Doggo answers with a solo kill of his own. It's like exactly how things played out at MSI. A brawl between the two teams.
It was good.
This is just a heavy overcommitment from CFO. They think that it's an easy gank, but the ultimate from Junja trying to keep Carrier away made it so much easier for Faker to turn that around.
Patay na dapat si Faker
came through. I think CFO should have just focused on trying to cross-map, because this time around T1 had the numbers advantage, and I think that's the biggest thing that CFO is getting away with. Numbers advantage in their favor to punish T1. This time though, T1 reacted accordingly. But
Ganda ng timing ni Doggo dun. Baited si Guma sa canon, tapos hindi pa niya nakuha yung canon.
No flash Draven. And Ona will be setting his sights
Hello,
on that
Takeko,
AD
kamusta?
First turret, meanwhile, picked up in the bot lane.
Pero guys, kung
It's
gusto naman
all
ng
about
HD
his
dito.
objective as Herald now spawns, but Vetti, I see an experimental Hexblade here for Doggo as his second item. He's a full item ahead of Guma right now. That Draven has got money. It is definitely his treat at the next meal as it is coming up now. Everyone sit down. It's Herald. And also, let's remember that Junja's close to his second item too.
That does surprise me. I guess getting an extra bit of health, you can easily proc the attack speed. I mean, like, sure, it's all the stats that you want.
Normally it's just an IE or something second, or like a hardcore AD item.
But I guess he's sitting here saying, you know what, I hit hard enough.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'll get a bit more HP.
Junja, caught out. Pop Blossom finds him after the scuttle. He'll regret this. Get the stun up though. Goes in for the time being. Edge of his shell. Perfect timing is that's simply a clone. He'll jump over the wall. Audacity out. Buy some space as Doran is on the hunt, but with that health bar advantage, T1 start the Herald.
I mean, no ulti now available for Junja, but they did trade it for Carrier's ult. CFO still want to fight this though. Doggo on the right-hand side. Keep your eyes on him.
Rival wants something to drive into. Decimating smash just out of range. Doran flashes, misses, whiffs. Meanwhile, Owner went in by himself. T1 is separated. Driver cuts off the cross, and Kywin picks up the kill.
Wala nang front line, bawas na, wala nang jungler. Doran hinahabol na. Hindi makabawi, naghahabol yung T1. Alisay nga lang nakakill. Pero yari sila ngayon. Ganda ng pasok ng CFO. Wasak T1.
And CFO are bringing it to the world champs.
Hirap sila Doran sa kasi owner
play with nameplates off as they go full aggression into T1. Disconnection being shown by T1 as their focus was just off. Doran doesn't connect onto Doggo. Ona engages onto the backline of CFO. And we look back here. Driver very close again. But look at Ona committing as the rest of T1 have their sights set onto Doggo. Driver then runs down the middle. While he does have to flash out, his job is done. He's created chaos in the midst of the fight as Doran finds himself isolated and the rest of T1 can do little to escort him to safety.
How did Kywin get both kills? I don't know, but there's a double for him. And then the Realm Warp once again from Honku is outstanding.
Faker ends up falling. Honku's able to secure it. And it's just every international event, CFO continue to show up. This is, of course, only a best of one, but what an important best of one it is to get a win here.
Hang on.
Siya lang yung ahead.
Noxious Blast. Can he hit Driver? Flush for the Miasma. Now that Ona's here as well. Driver in trouble. Great sidestep. Decimating smash in front of the turret avoided by Ona. He will survive. Meanwhile, Dragon does go down, but it's a good punish from T1.
I mean, absolutely. The ulti gonna whip. Ona, though, very low. The Dragon secured, and now the threat on the bot lane tower.
They have the damage, Betty. Maybe enough to threaten Doran to get out of there. Redemption's going to come on down, but wait for Supreme Flame to
Ooh, Doran!
Kills!
Okay na yun!
Jungler got ambitious, and now the damage definitely ain't there as Exhaust also used. Herald's still there, Pop Blossom with the flag. Doggo got out, instinct cleanse away. He's running for his life. He'll catch the axe, he'll get movement speed, but he needs a bit more. A double. That makes it trouble for T1 to follow up on the players. They have to back away. CFO coming to help out.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so T1, they're not wasting any time. They're looking for any punish possible. The fact that Doran gets the outplay onto Junja, the fact that they're able to put pressure onto that top tower, and the fact that they threaten Doggo in the mid lane, but it's not ultimately enough. They keep the top tower protected from the side of CFO. On the bot side of the map, they don't quite secure that tower, but they do open up the mid one. And the fact that Carrier committed both the flash and heal to trying to pick off Doggo, but it only cost him his cleanse, meaning that he's not going to have that. Not having that flash available for the next fight is going to be a big one. Anakan 1 minute away, and you have to expect that CFO, they're not going to waste any time. What's amazing is it feels like it's a very CFO-driven game, but the gold, it barely reflects that.
It's crazy the gold even after all this skirmishing. 16 kills in 19 minutes though. That's my kind of League of Legends. About 500 now, they're starting to pick up waves, but I will also mention in the skirmishing, in the chaos, feats of warfare were picked up. Armor advanced, the first boots that actually advanced for CFO with Doggo getting them now. So double Dragon, it's Chemtech Soul this game. 3 minutes till that, but Artican's up in 25 and eyes focused on the top side of the map. That's where it's spawning. That's where Kywing's laying down the groundwork for vision so that CFO can watch T1 with bated breath.
This is becoming, I mean, after MSI and now watching the matchup again, it's becoming an awesome international rivalry. I mean, T1, they have many rivals around the world.
True.
But to really go toe-to-toe with those, Junja ultis in.
Into the river, get the stun. Ona is cashed in. More big bucks for Doggo.
I mean, I think I counted 307 there for Doggo.
I did too.
The man is sitting with a 3K gold lead over Guma, and I will say, when I saw this Draven in the draft, I was not optimistic, but CFO have played fantastically around Doggo to really put him in the best position. Artican now being started.
No supreme display of talent means there is an ult advantage if Owner can get there, if Faker can delay. A petrifying gaze from over the wall with the Cassiopeia without flash.
Teleport silang pareho Diyan yung Sion. Alistar nakaabang sa blast cone. Malayo yung abot yan.
Kaiwin gets over the wall, flash from Honkyu, gets the double root. And there's Kaiwin for the follow-up engage. The cow unleashed Pop Blossom does nothing. Driver misses.
Walang magawa si Faker. Same target lang.
Just about. They finish the kill. It's Doggo who gets more money in the bag. Doran now isolated.
Distract si Dora.
But the supreme display of unholy talent. Junja on Kiana is just exceptional.
Basag ang T1.
CFO are punishing T1 time and time again. The way in which they navigate the fight is fantastic.
LCP
and I
team,
just
guys.
can't get over the level of confidence that we're seeing from
Yan yung
CFO.
kakalabanin ng
They do not fear anything. Flashing in their face, looking for the outplay. They secure the Arakan, they get a tower, and they are in, forgive my pun, the driver's seat here in this best of one.
Done it many times. TP, though, it's not over yet. T1 have more gas in the tank, and they're going to use it on Honkyu, who burned his flash in that last play, but Faker, as he takes a long way around, will eventually find him. I was going to wonder as the root comes through. There's the phase rush. Noxious Blast still connects with the Twin Fang in the follow-up. Ace in the hole. Redemption coming in, and here he is again! Here he is again!
Junja comes to the rescue of his mid laner. Level 14 on the Kiana, 5-2-6 the scoreline. The ultimate named a supreme display of talent, and I mean, I think you summarized it beautifully in the last fight, Hysterics. What a display it has been. The Dragon 30 seconds away. Let's look back at the fight.
Tinanong si Faker dito
tanking
the snare,
the flash in onto
ulti,
Faker, the
headbutt pulverize,
Doggo
stasis
hesitates
siya,
as he's Doran
tapos
turning
bilang
his
knocked up
attention
siya.
onto him. But the rest of the team is doing so much work on the backline. I got worried as Faker was still alive in the midst of all of that, because the rest of the CFO assumes that someone will get the cleanup. But they do in fact get the cleanup. The ultimate connecting onto both. I didn't see the carrier connect as well.
Got the kill.
It secures an additional kill. And I mean, what else can Faker do? He puts his hands up as CFO find themselves with just short of a 5K gold lead here in this best of one.
Now, there's been rewards here for the jungle, but let's not forget, it is really Doggo who helped start this game too. Outside of the invade, outside of the successful pressure, from Junja.
Fighter build pala si Doran,
his third item is 3.8k over Guma. He has cashed in 5 times, has not died, so it keeps accumulating. Of course, every kill to cash in.
And it felt like Caitlyn was the AD carry of the tournament. It felt like that teams would have to find new answers to it. And we were discussing those answers today prior to the cast.
I don't remember this being one of them.
Draven wasn't on the list. He wasn't even in the conversation. But my goodness, to just lock in the Draven and say, no, we can make this work. And again, I really want to emphasize their early game plan was incredible. Splitting the map, which against the Caitlyn you wouldn't expect to do, but to provide that safety.
He's in trouble, Owner flashes and it connects. Pop Blossom up, supreme display of nothing there.
Confidence a little too much now.
And it's given gold over to the Caitlyn we were just talking about.
Gumayushi, he's going to knock 1,000 gold off the difference.
That's something.
That definitely is something. You've got to be careful,
CFO.
T1. They are multi-time world champions for a reason.
Gap
They're not
owner
going to give this game up without a fight. You're in a
gap
fantastic position to close this one out. This is your game to lose, but T1 will be fishing for every opportunity to take the game away from you. With the Baron spawning in 40 seconds, that will be the objective that they will look for. Your setup, your positioning is going to be crucial.
Yeah.
Tapos yung Alistar pa.
Could be all that it
yung
takes.
redemption pa nila.
Right now, both teams take an opportunity to reset. We're getting close to completing a couple of big items ahead of what we expect to be the Baron setup.
Walang unending despair yung
Mortal Reminder being one of them, by the way. With a bit of healing cut over to Faker naturally. Also for the Rek'Sai, for what it's worth, as Means third item here while Guma's still sitting on 2, but he's definitely got some components here as he's backing away towards that bottom side of the map. Might be a Bear Sword, no, it's going to be a Last Whisper. Throwing drops some wards. Meanwhile, while the Baron spawns, T1 and Baron in the same sentence has always given people goosebumps. CFO have to make sure they do not give one more to the arm.
Force of nature being picked up by Driver, I think makes a lot of sense considering how Faker is playing this Casio. Oh, Dogger's just going to start this one off. All right, they're putting the pressure onto T1 once again.
Maybe they're trying to bait it, Fetty. I don't know about this. CFO are looking to pull off. 1100 back in. Hongq proves to be wrong. And now below 10k.
I really don't think they should gamble the smite fight. That's the worst choice. Considering the lead that they have, they've got the push in mid-wave. They're going to force Doran to go and answer that.
Well careful to Guma, good damage.
And now they can go back. There's that. So you can see it in the back of the pit. Driver spots it out as well. He's going to clear out that control ward. Will proc the aggro of the Baron. And now they're going to draw T1's attention once more. Keep the pressure up. TP comes back in from Kaiwing.
Okay, Carrier's going to find an angle in the meantime. That's his point. That gives vision. Redemption going to come down. Nice, healthy CFO below 10k once again.
Wala na silang pink ward. Kaya kailangan mag-face check na. Wala na rin silang stealth ward. Si Doggo may spotan na. Wala, iwan si Doran.
And as he gets poked out, he will not die. Crucial for T1 as
teleport pa siya.
has now committed the flash.
Kailangan niya umuwi. Pero
tatimingan
niya ng CFO.
Start
nila ulit yung Baron.
Oi, Junja over the wall, but no. Under Carrier as a spell shield holds on for the time being. Pop Bottom finds him. Kuma gets the trap down, but it's out of range. TP burnt by T1.
A whip there from Junja. The ulti
Akala nila si owner yun.
into the wall, which means that the distance isn't enough
si owner.
to allow him to escape. It's a trade of ultis, but that was a big ulti.
Gets Tanglebubs, ran up and Drive interrupted! Drive interrupted owner! There's no sprint play, talent Faker sets up the ulti to shut down on the Hongq unit. It's a trade. T1 lose one to gain one as Driver, even though he picked up that kill, he might have saved the play. Tanglebubs, two-man once again. Doran jumps in, Doggo goes far, up midway, flushes away. There's the ulti from Doran, but he's got no one to support him again. Doggo running, good boy! As Doran only just managed to get out front, somehow dies.
Doran buying time! Doran, kung may ginawa kang tama, yun na yun.
Kaiwing was seeing backing, but as Driver dies, the messiness subsides.
May tama na rin ginawa si Doran.
Oh my goodness. We talked about those tiny mistakes getting punished by T1, and they dance at the very edge of death, but it is T1 that stave off the Baron and close the gold gap once more. They get the flash out from Doggo, which is such an important summoner spell. And they have the numbers advantage. They're coming back out onto the map. Driver has his TP available. The Soul is spawning in 20 seconds time. The face check, you've got to be careful. The ward will be dropped.
Kaiwing, crucial here. He doesn't have to burn the ulti. He's got flash available as well. Any chunk leads to this Baron. Any chunk delays the Soul. 5 seconds, speaking of CFO on that point. But T1 have River first.
Doggo on the top side. Are they considering a Baron duo? Doggo's saying that maybe we can sneak away this Baron.
Ona knows, though, they're going up straight away. The rest of T1 following.
But I think CFO's happy with this. They wanted to bait T1 out of the river. They've done just that. The bot wave and top wave continue to push in CFO's favor, which means that they're not too concerned about any pressure on the side lanes. Waves continue to be fought for in the mid wave. The T1 have that slight range advantage. HP not going to be too significant though. Dragon going to be started off. CFO want to threaten the Baron once again. Draw T1's attention. It's a tense affair. But this Dragon looks completely uncontested. Junja though, Junja.
Hang on, Junja goes over the wall, wants to contest with Ona in a 2v1. There's a supreme display.
Oh, stolen yung Soul.
Take it away!
Grabe, outplayed si Owner.
Stand beside to find a target. The rest of CFO are in the river for the time being. Hongq has to be careful without his flash. Ona doesn't hit the target. He's on Doggo though, but look, he's separated. He has to leave. Now Doran's sent into the sky by the one and only Driver. Faker stands and starts poisoning, sending out the fangs, but T1 have lost top lane. They've lost Soul, and now the Baron's on the cards.
Oh my goodness, CFO get away with so much. They steal away the Dragon. They win out on the fight. They have the numbers advantage. Ona still lives though, and as long as he has his smite, there's always going to be a possibility. They don't have information as to where Ona is. They've spotted him out.
Blastcone gives him some space, but Junja has a stun. All he needs is to get into range. He will fail, but for now, CFO hold off on that Baron thought. They're looking for Ona. Junja's the one chasing him.
Look at Faker, though. It's so difficult to start this objective off. He's in the river.
But Kaiwing takes the flank a little bit early. He's going to lose Celestial Blessing. Tanglebub's there as well. Guma stats up and tries to hit him hard. He's got the ulti available. Guma tries to walk in. CFO backing off is still so sketchy. The game's not over until Junja runs in the river. He runs back, sets it up, but it's a double. is just nuts as well. The CFO have now got 2 in the dirt.
They're just going to start this Baron off. It's still a super risky thing to do. Doran is max HP. Faker is coming back from the river. Guma with his range. Keep your eyes on Kaiwing, looking for the flank.
Driver is low as well, but he's got a shield. Doran once again on in. Guma with the range to steal his potential, but no. Smite is better. A Realm Orb into Guma's face, but he spaced him, he's ranged him, and Faker stares him in the face. However, the pop back is massive. CFO are doing it, and even with the ulti avoided by Doran.
Oh boy, lahat! Clean freaking ace, pare!
CFO
the cleanest ace!
To everything! The Baron is secured, the ace is secured. They are just going toe-to-toe with T1, and they are getting the better of them. What an incredible year this has been. And this team, it feels like that they can only go up with the Baron now secured. The Nexus is in their eyes as they look to try and break the base.
Look at Doggo, he just got Torrent now, he's taking a 1v2. You know where this game's at.
Whoa.
Ow! This dog, man! It's 6-0, Betty. What a game!
His bite is so much worse than his bark. As tower falls, a man is down on the side of T1. The defenses are falling apart. Faker now makes his way back onto the rift, but I think the damage has already been done.
Whoa.
Is he enough to defend the Nexus? Another inhibitor falls. The Baron doing some serious work.
Just imagine if we started getting the best of 5 of this again. It's only one game, but it feels so good. John just going to be caught out, though, as he runs for his life. Gets away with the help of a heal.
And Doran might actually just die. Good knock-up.
A clutch defense.
Wala silang bawas. They're just wrecked, man. They're just wrecked. T1 is dominated as hell.
Get a bit of revenge. And the first team going 2-0, Betty. At least in my eyes, CFO smacking down the LCK's 4th seed as Baker runs back to the base, but this game's done. I see one delicious
Grabe!
at Worlds 25.
Wasak! Wasak T1!
What an incredible game. The tension was so high
lalagay ko dito sa stats ko, one-sided beatdown.
These neutral objectives. But the sheer level of confidence from Junja was unbelievable. And I mean, we didn't talk about him much, but Kaiwing had some insane moments as well. Like, there's going to be so much to review from that game, but really, it's time to celebrate CFO. They go 2-0. I'm pretty sure this is the first LCP team ever in the Swiss stage to go 2-0, and they're going to be fighting with the other top dogs to get out and secure a spot in the quarterfinals.
That one T1 loss, it ain't the same, is it? CFO starting 2-0 against the defending world champion.
Durog sila Faker.
Hey, that was weird how you delivered that last line, but I loved every second of that game. My God, look at the joy. I mean, and justified. What an incredible performance from CFO. There are so often where you see these like razor-thin margins in upsets like this. This was not one of them. This was dominance just about from start to finish.
It was an amazing moment to be able to celebrate. Yeah, keep dancing. That's the silent dance.
Hit him with this was not one of them. This was dominance just about from start to finish.
It was an amazing moment to be able to celebrate. Yeah, keep dancing. That's the silent dance.
Hit him with it.
If you keep giving him silent,
he got it again.
Keep doing it.
He got it again. You know, they banned away the bard. They understood.
Sinayawan yung
T1. Banned the bard.
Yeah. Sinayawan yung
T1. They let him get it again. And the thing is, I had some concerns with some of the lane matchups that came through, right? The Alistar, the Nico. But they went for the swap, and the Draven Doggo solo killing Doran. That isn't supposed to happen. You know, Doran trying to just pick up as much CS as he can.
I mean, the thing is, I want to talk about the start of the game because I think the thing that people will miss in this slew of incredible team fights is how good the setup on the map was from CFO. But first, we got to talk about some more of the incredible team fights.
Man.
I mean, look, the level of execution, how flawlessly they played the Herald, the Otacon, the angles that they found. So many teams in this tournament have crumbled in these tense fights, but not CFO.
That Sion ulti basically isolating Owner entirely. Owner goes through, and also even before this replay, the flash from Doggo, I felt like he was really in tune and focused on the threats there. There were a lot of threats to his life. He recognized those threats and backed away from it. and gets teleported in. Sion was massive here.
The Realm Warp usage as well was so good. I feel like there were so many moments they got big picks or repositioning in team fights to find angles. And here, they know Faker has no flash. The flash in from Hongkyu to set up the route, the follow-up that comes through, just finding that target, slowly encroaching on T1 and forcing them away from the objective. And this ult here that not only gets Doran, but stops Guma's ult as well. This was a masterclass from CFO.
The pure confidence from this team, not just from the draft, but also, yes, you're right, in the early games. Just walking through mid-turret and just throwing that axes at Guma Yusi, right? And then in those team fights, being able to see, yes, the confidence, but also the patience to be able to just play it slow when they have an incremental lead. They play it accordingly. Doggo had an immaculate performance on the Draven.
The early game was just so incredible for him. And the thing is, they set it up from level 1. We looked at the draft, we said this is going to be so impossible for them to play, but they had a strategy. It was a brilliant swap.
This looked like a really difficult Draven game because you're playing with an Alistar into a Nico, into Caitlyn Nico, which is a hard lane matchup. They went for the swap. He got a lead on the back of obviously playing into a Rek'Sai, but also getting a solo kill. Then as well in team fights, you're playing into Nico, you're playing into Vi, and with the follow-up from like a Caitlyn and a Cassiopeia, if CC hits you, you expect the follow-up, but there were many times where you saw like Vi going in for the Draven, and it was Ona who had to flash away afterwards because the follow-up wasn't there, the team protected, and Doggo was always in a really good position.
I can't count how many games we've seen of Draven where it's like, he has so many adoration stacks. When is he going to be able to cash it in? Cashes it in, top lane, goes back bot lane with a BF sword. A Draven's dream.
Oh boy.
Yeah, because you know that they got Nico, they got Caitlyn. And again, carry as Nico is nothing to scoff at, right? You can see how they expected that 2v2 dominance to take over. And even when the map was split, you're like, okay, surely Owner will go top. But no, the level 1, forcing the split map, denying that access, giving that isolated 1v1. And this is a game where I feel like every single member of CFO stepped up. Often someone's a passenger princess, and someone's along for the ride. It wasn't the case.
I'm going to be honest, I've said so many good things about Ona, but in this game, he was read so well by Junja, and he just completely shut him out. And I mean, look at the damage difference. I know Kiana is that pick who can do a lot of damage, but it tells the story, really. This was a game, and we've seen Kiana in the LCK. It has only lost. This is a game showing what Kiana can do in the right hands.
Definitely is. Of course, we're going to hear from Baby Faker himself, Hongkyu, after the break, ahead of Gen G versus AL. Don't go anywhere. More incredible League of Legends coming your way.
Follow-up engage. The cow unleashed. Pop Blossom does nothing. Driver misses, but Faker is there when he lands. Down goes the snake, or just about. They finish the kill. It's Doggo who gets more money in the bag. Doran now isolated, has to go back in. But the supreme display of unholy talent. Junja on Kiana.
Grabe yung basag na basag, pre. Okay. Nag-post na ako. Awawa, T1. Awawa. Awawa. Eagles tinalo ng CF. Hindi lang tinalo, pre. Dinurog. Dinurog yung T1. Hindi yung basta talo lang. Wasak. Wasak yun. Not gonna lie. T1 ako pero wasak. Ibig sabihin babagsak na yung T1. No. Sabihin may 1-1 na yung score nila.
The greatest players in the world are here.
They can just burn this one down. Oh my god, he'll forward by 9!
You are going to see them like you've never seen them before.
Rocked it well as the Arcane Storm doing so much work in Gen G! They are just going to ace them!
누구 만나도 이길 수 있다는 자신감 정도로만 생각하고 있습니다.
Gen G, the EWC winners! Kindred locking down the Drake is now Doran. Decent position, double break down my walls, but I won't rise again. Cause I stand tall in my environment. How could I ever close my eyes as they silence sins? They try to take
Teams that reach 3 losses are eliminated. So, sa T1, kailangan hindi sila matalo ng 3 beses. Ngayon, meron na silang isang talo. Ganun pala. Bukas, best of 3 na yung mga laban. Ito. Yan. 3 wins kailangan. So, kailangan ng T1 manalo ng dalawa pa dito. Either tomorrow or sa sunod na day. Kung matalo sila ng dalawa pa, out na sila. Hindi ko lang advancement match. May advancement match na ata bukas. Yung mga 2-0. Ano ito? Tomorrow, ito. High matches tomorrow. Mas mid matches. Slow matches ulit. Sayang. Sino nanalo sa T1? CFO. CFO yung nanalo. Agoy! Game, tapos na rin. Tapos na yung game ng T1. Talo, durog yung T1, pre. Wasak yung T1, guys. Sobrang weakest link talaga. Weakest link ngayon ng T1 talaga si Dora. Not gonna lie. Next match natin, Genji versus AL naman. Kahapon nanalo yung AL against HLE. Grabe yun.
CFO, do it again here against T1 at Worlds 2025, and I have Honkyu and Vivian with me to talk about this one. Congratulations on taking down T1 once again, because it was a pretty close series at MSI. This one you win again. Tell me how you approached that series, especially with such an aggressive
Gets na nila yung T1.
首先恭喜你们也拿下今天比赛哦。那你们当初在 MSI 的时候，其实也是和他们打了一场非常接近，也就是实力非常相近。
Ilan laban bukas?
dalawa. 这次
Dalawang best of 3.
哪些地方是不一样的？你们有做了什么不一样的准备，让你们能拿下今天的比赛呢？
就第一次赢 T1 嘛，然后就觉得蛮开心的吧。应该是没有做什么准备。比较不一样的点是，觉得他们的联动做得更好了，然后还有 Faker 选手的打线就感觉更难打了一点。
Right. So this time around, we actually didn't do anything very specific. Actually, I felt like T1 has improved a lot in their team cohesion, and on top of that, especially Faker, I think his laning phase improved a lot as well.
We have to talk about Faker because I know how much of an idol he is for you. How does it feel to take him down today?
那能拿下就是偶像的胜利这一点，你有什么感受吗？
应该是没有什么感受，就还是偶像，然后希望，但之后好像也不会再追到了，就应该是没有什么感受，就很开心拿下这场比赛。
Right, so I don't really feel anything like out of the ordinary. He is still my idol after all.
Right.
I think after this match, we probably won't match up against each other again anytime sooner. But yeah, it was great. But he was still on top, like up there for my idol.
Of course, he is the GOAT. At the end of the day, now talking more about CFO, you are the only team who made it to all 3 internationals this year. And I feel like teams might have been underestimating you before, but I doubt that is still the case today. How are you approaching this Worlds?
那
你们也是在这次世界赛上唯一一次3年，就是今年来3次登上就是国际赛事的队伍嘛。那因为可能平常以前大家可能都会低估我们的实力，那你觉得你现在能够证明我们自己的实力之后，你对这件事情有什么新的想法或新的看法？
应该是就蛮开心的吧，就是能够证明就是我们不是比较弱一点的赛区，然后之后的比赛我们也会尽力的去打，然后打好的每一场比赛。
Right, so I'm really glad that we can prove that our weaker region is actually better than everyone thought. And so from now on, I would continue to perform my best and win every match.
What do you want to showcase here at Worlds personally?
我觉得你个人来说，有什么是想要在这次世界赛上证明的吗？
应该是没有什么想证明，然后希望我们打好每一场比赛吧，然后希望可以晋级到下一轮去。
Nothing specifically, but I think as long as right now we're just focusing on playing every match well and qualifying for the next stage.
All right, well, thank you so much for the interview, and thank you so much for the translation. Over to you guys.
In today's featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz, the East will clash. The current MSI reigning champion Gen G will face off against the second-seeded China, Anyone's Legend. The two teams met before in the upper bracket of MSI this year, which went the distance. Anyone's Legend were able to undo the reliability of Gen G with Flandre's top smolder and push them to silver scrapes.
Canyon looking for the flank onto Flandre. He'll go in with the hands, but Super Keen's already dead. Duo low as well. The hero's entrance countered by Shanks as he dashes forward. Chovy down, Rudel and Duro and Canyon, the only three left alive.
However, in the decider, Gen G came back swinging on the back of Keen's Camille.
Church is in session here for Gen G. Keen on the back line, Flandre dead. Keen, you can't even pop his GA.
The MSI reigning champions came into the tournament with a questionable early game against the LCP's third seed PSG, but quickly showed what makes people call them the best in the world.
Ilang, ano yun? So, pa-explain naman Lodi, format ng laro bago lang kasi ako sa LoL. Hello Igno, sorry, bago, ngayon ko lang nakita yung message mo. I was checking in on my team. Ito yung, andito ako ba Igno? Pinoy team ba yung Team Secret? Yung, no, walang Pinoy team dito. Walang Pinoy team dito. Ay pala yung T1, pasikat pala yun. Balagbag talaga yung T1. Pero grabe, durog yung T1 today. Ito yung format natin. First is yung play-in. Play-in, kumbaga, yung mga humabol pa. T1 lang saka IG yung natira doon. Tapos, nanalo kasi nung isang araw, yung T1 doon. Kaya pasok yung T1 sa Worlds. Kung natalo sila, hindi sila kasama sa Worlds. So yung IG hindi nakasama sa Worlds. Tapos yung stage nila ngayon is Swiss stage. Basically, halos lahat ng matches, best of one. One game lang. Parang round robin.
I'm literally convinced his hair's
parang
gonna turn
round
gold and he'll
robin.
go
Pero
Super Saiyan. He's gonna be the
random
first man to
lang
go
siya.
Super Saiyan. Or burst a blood vessel.
Tapos ang goal mo lang is makakuha ng as much wins as you can sa mga best of
slightly
one.
health concerning one.
Kasi
But
puro
gentlemen,
best
this is
of
a
one.
super exciting
Mas
matchup.
iba-iba
Gen G,
yung mga
of course,
katapat mo.
favorites, I think in the sense they're the first seed. They've
Nakalagay
shown that
dito,
they can win
first
in the
team
best
that
of five,
reaches
but it's best
3
of one.
wins advances to
Obviously,
the knockout
AL have taken
stage.
plenty of games, so it does
Tapos,
feel like
syempre,
anything
yung
could
3
happen.
losses naman eliminated. So, kumbaga, para kang may best of 5. Para kang may best of 5, pero iba-iba yung kalaban mo per day. Ganun.
And it is a best of one. So even though a lot of people
Tapos,
going in the tournament
yung malapit doon,
heavily into any
kapag
team, I think from what we've seen from AL,
pa-promote
this
ka
is a
na,
close match. And I think Gen G
pa-promote,
needs to be able to
meaning
engage
2
and
wins ka
hold
na,
out against it. We saw the
yung
Eagles
last na
go
laban mo
head-to-head at MSI
is a best of 3.
absolute slugfest
So,
and really tested Gen
tomorrow,
G,
meron tayong
where
mga
they were the
best of 3
eventual
na
champions of
matches.
the tournament.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pag pa-eliminate ka naman, meron ka rin best of 3 na match.
Because of like the rocky regular season, going into the playoffs,
Yan,
sure.
yung mga score na 2-0, may laban sila. Yung mga 1-1 may laban sila. Yung mga 0-2 may laban din sila. Pero best of 3, yung 2-0 saka yung 0-2. Best of 1 lang yung mga 1-1.
Back-to-back MSI champion.
Ito yan. Ito schedule niya October 17, so tomorrow.
As immaculate as we've talked to and sung their praises, but AL seems to be playing up to the opponent's strength again and again.
Yes, and of course, I think the team fighting has been immaculate from AL,
laban
so
na
Gen
ulit.
G share and fashion.
Yung mga 2-1 naman yung maglalaban.
We said yesterday,
tapos mga 1-2 naman.
it's kind of hard to pick one name. We didn't have enough time to talk about every
Anong
single
team
Gen
ba
G
malakas
player.
dyan, no? Di para
Ruler's the one kind of at the
para
forefront of my
matayan,
mind.
T1
Incredible
lang kasi yung
performance
kilala ko
yesterday.
dyan.
Rock solid
Madaming
carry for
malalakas
the
ngayon
team,
eh.
and a guy
It's
who,
quite
again, I
hard
think we have to
actually
keep
to
our eye on.
Yeah, I mean, he
Papakita
was
ko
the finals
yung
MVP back in the
meron
LCK when they won that
akong-
against
meron
HLE, but
akong
yesterday as well,
stat
he was
sheet
getting
so
the lion's
far
share of the resources on that
na
Lucian. They were
ginawa.
giving that over to
Ito yung mga laban. Kuwari kahapon, PSW, dinurog nila yung VKS. CFO, dinurog nila yung Fnatic. KT, dinurog nila yung MK. Actually, hindi pala. Hindi nila dinurog. Medyo close yung laban nila. BLG, natalo, dinurog ng 100 pero may weird pick rin kasi sila nag-ilis yung BLG.
It wasn't a flawless game, don't get me wrong. There were moments where it felt like it might slip away from them. But at the end of the day, that execution remained flawless. And I'm kind of hoping for some pretty even lane phases just so we can fully appreciate how fantastic these teams are in the later stages.
Versus
I completely agree. And just as an obvious reminder for everybody, it's the early stages of this tournament. So even Gen G going up against PSG just yesterday, they had some openings in the early portions of the game in which they did like drop some few kills for Keen. Like that happened. That happened.
Si Viper pala.
The lessons learned coming into this day,
soul point na
definitely going to be having an even early game and trying to live up to those team fights. So even though you heard Ayla talk about like just having certain lanes so you can actually fight early, it seems like early skirmishes and major team fights is going to be a focus.
I also think as well, with looking to get an early edge,
Gen G naman nanalo against
Gen G is hard to find like a lane discrepancy with how stacked
mga 2-0 ngayon so
far. But Canyon has struggled, especially during the summer playoffs, and Tarzan has been in phenomenal form.
CFO.
CFO, KT,
Top Esports, Gen G expected win din to yung sa kanila ngayon.
Gen G have had occasional
kasi yung kalaban nila
in playoffs or in a matchup last year against HLE. It's because the enemy junglers really set a pace to the game, and sometimes Canyon just hasn't kept up with that. So Tarzan does that here, that can be the difference maker.
And Chronicler's not here to say, like, I believe it, this time the Polar Bear is waking up. But we've been saying the Polar Bear is waking up for, I feel like,
in terms of establishment kasi, sobrang well-established yung HLE, Gen G,
waiting for more information if needed.
Medyo pabor pa rin sa kanila. Technically underdogs pa rin sila. Pero pwede mataas ang chances ng AL manalo.
Canyon for me is still one of the GOATs, but his
kaya
performance has been in flux.
Maganda yung match na to na Gen G versus
Doro has done a great job compensating in a lot of those early games. We're at the point where a lot of these support jungle duos are so active on the early map. We really need to see that peak Canyon.
Yeah, I
feel like parang di pa ito nagpapakita ng tunay na lakas nila. Medyo nag-experiment sila eh. Kaya hindi ko din gusto eh.
And Duro kind of filling that role and being more active and playing the map. They can get away with so much, and they can just accrue so much gold as a result. But if you're setting a fast pace to the game, getting a lead, making things happen for your lane, I can see junglers, especially with how many strong junglers we have in this competition, that's where you can get an advantage against Gen G. If you can really set that fast pace, make sure they don't have time to breathe, because I think if you just play it slow and go into team fights, Gen G are such excellent team fighters, they're really going to have an edge there. So I think fast pace, that's how you have to approach it. You have to look to make things happen consistently before Canyon really just starts to scale into the point where he's relevant. The team are going to pick up a ton of gold. They'll start playing out their macro plan and get into team fights where they are super dominant.
Yeah, and that is a question because in Worlds so far we have seen, you know, first 4 minutes of the game matter so much. Early level ones and also like the lane swaps being a real question and how you should be able to interact with it. Being on the map and influencing the map early has been a point that you need to really value. And Tarzan is going to be a person that we can question what pick he's going to get. Perhaps it's the Zed. I hope it's the Zed.
That's your early map influence?
Yeah,
you don't want I don't know what you're watching.
Very quick,
maybe hoping for something else. But I mean,
very kind of clear bases, gets a longsword, comes back, scuttle crab, look for a top lane gank. Like I'm just saying in general, like Tarzan has been able to do that. And I feel
100%.
Like that would be something I look out for.
Yeah, Canyon might be the guy that I look back to in years past, but right now Tarzan is kind of the demon of the jungle.
Gen G most likely team
But you brought up Doro before, and I think it gives us a good opportunity to check in with Doro as we were able to speak to him yesterday after their match.
As in, kumbaga, wala silang tinatapon na game.
Welcome to the Verizon Game Day interview. I am here joined by Duro on the side of Gen G. First up, Worlds in China. This is your first ever Worlds experience. How are you enjoying your first time here? 이제 첫 월즈 무대 밟고 계신데요. 아무래도 첫 월즈인 만큼 조금 떨리기도 할 것 같은데 중국에서 어떤 시간 보내고 계신가요?
저희가 중국으로 와서 지낸 시간이 뭐 짧다면 짧고 길다면 길겠지만 그 시간 동안 그냥 스크림하고 그냥 평상시대로 한국에서 지내던 것과 별 다를 바 없이 지냈던 것 같습니다.
Also, especially the Swiss stage is happening in JDG Arena, so Ruler must be really familiar with the stage. Did he give you any tips or advice? 그리고 이렇게 경기가 진행되는 JDG 아레나가 사실 룰러 선수가 또 오랫동안 몸담았던 곳인 만큼 좀 뭐 여기 생활에 대한 팁이나 뭐 경기장에 대한 꿀팁 같은 거 전해주신 거 있나요?
재혁이 형이 아무리 2년 동안 그 JDG에 있어도 딱히 별다른 노하우나 팁 같은 건 아예 없었습니다.
그러면 그냥 아무 팁도 없이 바로 경기에 투입되신 거군요.
네, 그렇습니다.
No tips at all. He was just going straight to the game. Gen.G is having a dominant performance throughout the 2025 season, and now a lot of people are considering Gen.G as the top dog, the favorites of the tournament. Does that slowly growing inside of him as a pressure? I would like to ask. 사실은 올 한 해 젠지가 굉장히 압도적인 성적을 거두고 있습니다. 그런 만큼 많은 분들이 이번 월드 역시 젠지가 강력한 우승 후보다라고 고려하고 있는데요. 이런 점이 서서히 부담감이나 중압감으로 다가오진 않나요?
그런 것이 사실 뭐 많은 분들이 그냥 저희를 많이 잘한다고 생각을 해서 기대를 받는 거라고 생각을 하기 때문에 뭐 부담감이 뭐 없을 순 있겠지만 뭐 딱히 그런 건 신경은 딱히 안 쓰는 것 같습니다. 네.
Also on the Gen.G side, outside of Duro yourself, a lot of the players are very experienced, very seasoned veterans. So did they give you guys and give you any advice on dealing with the pressure and high stress situations? 그리고 또 젠지에 계신 선수 사실 듀로 선수를 제외하면 모두 굉장히 경력이 길고 베테랑입니다. 그런 만큼 이런 중압감, 스트레스 상황에서 어떻게 잘 헤쳐나가야 한다라고 조언 같은 거 준 게 있을까요?
딱히 형들이 뭐 저한테 그냥 편하게 하라고 그냥 뭐 농담도 해주고 그런 식으로 많이 해줍니다.
And Gen.G's next opponent is AL. We just have the draw result. So AL had a great resilience against Honor Life today. What are you expecting from them today? And 마지막 좀 다시 할게요. Gen.G's today's opponent is AL, and they showed great resilience against Honor Life, making a comeback victory in the end. What are you watching out for the most from AL? AL이 이제 상대 대진으로 지금 나왔는데요. 사실 하나생명 상대로 굉장한 좀 강인함을 보여줬고 결국에는 치열한 경기 끝에 역전을 만들어냈습니다. AL 상대로 가장 조금 조심하는 점이 있다면 무엇인가요?
저희가 이번 연도에 MSI와 EWC에서 AL을 많이 만났었는데 그때 계속 상대하면서 느낀 점이 정글과 서포트 그 두 선수의 움직임이 좀 좋기도 하고 팀 한타가 좀 호흡이 좋다고 생각을 해서 저희도 거기에 안 밀리게끔 계속 맞춰갔습니다.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Duro, for the interview, and wish you the best of luck in the upcoming game. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shout out to Ji-Sun and Duro. Of course, apologies to anyone who is not fluent in Korean. That includes us on the desk. The translator, or the translation, the subtitles that were supposed to come with that interview ended up not coming through. So while Duro, I'm sure, dropped a ton of knowledge bombs, you'll have to wait. We'll get it later maybe with the subtitles. You'll find. You understood fully?
Yeah.
Could you give some insight into what he was saying?
You want to give
No,
some insight?
I need you guys to challenge yourself and actually hit up Duolingo or something. Me personally, I'm good on that.
Okay, so a bit of an awkward one. Ask your Korean-speaking friends. Perhaps they can translate you. But let's focus back in on the matchup. Duro, of course, interesting. The other matchup that I think is so fascinating is the top side of the map, because I was kind of ready to count Flandre out, but it feels like this man is the kind of the beating heart of this team, because even yesterday when he was falling catastrophically far behind, he remained relevant throughout the entire game, and now he's going up against Keen, who we might have cashed or cursed a little bit. We did big up him, and then he kind of immediately died a few times, even if they did still win. But this is a guy who I think I'm looking at as probably the best, if not one of the best top laners in the world.
Yeah, I still have a lot of confidence in Keen, given how he's played domestically. And even though obviously it was a rough start to the game, he really bounced back and still had an impact in the fights on the Ambessa. So I think I'm looking at this game, whatever role Keen is able to play, I think he's super flexible. And I feel like on the other side, Flandre has quite often been a rock on the other side.
He knows his job.
Yeah.
He's somebody that, like, yes, he could fall insanely far behind, but he's going to create as much space as possible. If he's going to sack a lane, why not? We're taking the fight. So if you're going up against anyone's legend, you better be prepared for the skirmish. You better be prepared to TP early to be able to take fights around objectives. That's what I am looking out for. There's that fighting spirit within the team. When we heard from Tabe at MSI, he's talked about, of course, Tarzan and what he's able to do with the influence on the team, but also just recognizing that this is going to be a team that plays around team fights heavily. Gen.G has to recognize that.
Yeah, Genji,
Genji blue
again,
side.
getting ready for those terrifying team fights. Early game is going to decide so much. I wish I could promise an even. I wish we could just skip ahead like an arena game and watch people 2v2 and 4v4 forever. But that early game is going to matter, and we've seen a lot of times both these teams kind of ignoring the results of early game, outclassing in team fights. We saw the Vi swing get ahead for PSG yesterday. It didn't matter. Genji still ahead in gold, controlling the lanes better. For AL, we saw Viper. He was terrifying. Again, it didn't matter. Was not enough. Now there might have been a Tear of the Goddess in the equation that people are going to keep bringing up, and probably rightfully so, but this is the thing that I'm really looking toward. Who, however, in the early game is more likely to generate that large advantage? That's the big question.
I think that's the thing is that, there was definitely a time where Genji were really good at generating those early mid-game leads. We would often see them just accrue more gold. And we kind of saw that yesterday, even though they had some issues in terms of kills, they were ahead in gold, right? And then they got that big team fight, blew the game over. But I felt like in their playoff run more recently, they were sometimes going into that mid to late state in a bit of a deficit, but their 5v5 was just so excellent, it just felt like it didn't matter. So I could honestly see that happening in this matchup. They do fall behind a little bit, but I think even though AL are such good team fighters, they are against arguably the best team fighting team in the world. So I expect some big 5v5 clashes here.
Yeah, and it's funny, AL puts themselves in like kind of like cinematic moments where they are far behind and they claw themselves back, the Casio from Shanks, right? That's why overnight, what?
Puts themselves in cinematic moment? What is this, 2025 sandbagging? What is puts themselves in cinematic moments?
Maybe
throws for content? What does that mean?
Wait, we have to ask the players the question. Maybe not willingly, but
I like how both me and Raz are pitching like we'll fall behind. And then we'll team fight our way out of it, But you can have the lead. You can have the lead.
But overnight, they became like LPL's hopes. The way that they took down HLE.
Yeah, I mean, very fair.
And then seeing what happened to BLG. Everyone's like, please, who do we look to, right? Is it TES? We need to see more from them. It's been AL. For the year, it's been AL. And it's been a surprising thing to see from like the players that they've had. So we've talked extensively about Shanks' history throughout this year. The same about Flandre, who I've always loved, has always been true to himself. The mechanics can be a question.
Sure.
But his game knowledge, his understanding, especially with the championship that he won in EDG, like he recognizes the role that he has within the team and he plays it to its fullest.
Sure, and if you had better mechanics, maybe there'd be less space for cinematic moments, Raz.
True.
All the little
pieces. It's intended.
Okay, well, obviously the technical delay taking a little bit longer than expected, so we're going to take a quick break while we wait for additional technical issues to resolve. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Obviously, never an ideal circumstance, but we'll see you back here in a few minutes.
Lang. Tech problem pa.
you very much for waiting, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for the delay, but we're here now. We're getting told we're moments away from getting into pick ban between AL and Gen G. Matchup is red
another
hot.
rematch between
We waited too long for this.
Titans. I am excited. We already just came off the back of a banger.
Yeah,
Darren.
unexpected banger for some people. Like, oh, T1 is ramping up again. Oh, no. No.
Yeah,
the LCP is crazy.
Yeah, that 1-1 pool is getting very heated.
It
and
is.
Another Titan is going to join the 1-1 pool very soon because one of these teams is going to win, the other will fall. But what I can safely say is I'm expecting the team fights to be world class.
Yeah.
I think that we do have, especially after what we witnessed yesterday between HLE and AL, like those team fights were absolutely insane. And given the caliber that we hold Gen G to and what AL have shown us, it feels like that this is a different AL from what we saw from the third split.
With a quick reflection on Gen G yesterday versus PSG, where there was some moments in the early game. They were talking about it on desk, but like after that, I feel like only Gen G and maybe one or two other top teams could pilot a comp like that to such great force. You know, that Lucian Brom was insane, and all I can say is that Gen G look like they're firing too, and that's what hypes this up. An AL, a Gen G in Worlds form, in international form. We have seen them at other internationals, Vetty. Both times this year in best of fives, it's gone to all 5. It's only a BO1, but hopefully it's a long one.
I mean, so the good news for fans of both of these teams is that there's no way for them to rematch. So in the event that AL go 2-1 and then Gen G go 2-1, they wouldn't be able to then both fight each other. So meeting now does have pros, even if it does mean that two very strong teams are going to be meeting a little bit earlier in the tournament. It's going to be an exciting one. Yesterday, we saw things like, as you mentioned, the Lucian Braum coming out from Gen G. They also brought out the Wukong Ambessa along with Chovy's very well-known Galio. And this is something we've been seeing a little bit more from Chovy. It feels like that when we think about last year's Worlds, it felt like that he was like the conversation piece. But right now, it feels like that he's taken a little bit more of a back step. And that's not to degrade him in any way as a player, right? We still think that he's the best mid in the world, the value that he brings to the team, the way that he plays lanes, it's still naturally phenomenal. But it does feel like that a lot of the conversation is about the players that are around him, especially given the way that we've been seeing Ruler perform. Keen is right now just considered like the most complete player, and it feels like Duro, his impact, while often not as kind of like highlighted, is always felt in the games.
I mean, Duro is a big conversation point this year as well. With his debut, and yesterday, you know, we talked a little bit to Peter, his debut at Worlds. I mean, I'm excited to talk a little bit more about Duro today. Some supports that maybe don't get enough appreciation from the LCK. Now, I've been told there is a small further delay, but this time, someone spilt water on stage, so we got to swap peripherals. We'll find out who that is for you.
There's a reason why we need Worlds with sippy cups.
We do need
the sippy cups right there.
How do we spill with the sippy cups? Oh, hang on.
Hello, Marco.
Was it Hope? Was it Shanks? I think it was Shanks. It's in the keyboard.
Listen, I'm not one to name names.
No, okay? But I do see things, and I think Hope's mouse was affected, and Shanks has it in the keyboard. I'm going to take a guess. Apologies if wrong. I think it's Shanks.
Well,
don't punch. What the? Yo. Here's a punch. My hands are up.
I'm assuming it's some good luck.
I hope so.
Given the lucky panda that we've written underneath it.
The logo is, I mean, look, everyone's talked about AL's logo many times as well, and what a year to talk about it, especially with their rise to fame.
I mean, it's been a difficult summer for them.
It has, but like still the fact that they made it here to Worlds, you know, after people saying like, oh, they're failing, like they're kind of falling short, 4th in their group. 8-6 is not an impressive record when you got to, you know, number 3 in MSI, falling short to T1 and pushing Gen G to 5 in that round 2. Like, they have an impressive pedigree this year, and that's why, you're right, summer wasn't at that caliber we expected, and a lot of people questioning, like, are they going to be able to make it this far?
Yeah, I mean, based on what we saw yesterday, my expectations have risen significantly for AL. I know that the consensus coming into the World Championship was that the LPL teams kind of, well, were the dominant forces.
Yeah.
A lot of the power rankings that I saw put T1, HLE, Gen G as kind of the 3 favorites of the competition, and a lot of the LPL teams fell to the wayside. But AL is a team that we know the caliber of players. Tarzan is still considered, I think, the best jungler in the world right now.
I think so.
He's a phenomenal player, and as long as the other players kind of step up and they utilize their resources well, we know that they are a title contending team, especially given that what we've seen, we saw it at EWC, we saw it at MSI, like these two teams specifically go toe-to-toe. Full 5 games every time, like they definitely take the gloves off when they go up against each other.
And that's what makes it so exciting. Again, getting that water spillage fixed up on stage, and then we'll be jumping into pick ban. We made you wait for this one. It's our best matchup of the day. We made you wait.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's okay, guys. I think get your coffee, get your tea.
Giving more times for the EU fans to wake up ready for the next match of Fnatic versus BLG.
That's right. Throwing them a bone.
That's happening,
EU needs it, you know? We just versed each other. MCoy now 0-2. GG got their first win on the board, and the only reason that EU's on the board currently is because we had to have an internal matchup.
We take those, hey, we take those.
We do. But I don't know if... imagine if BLG just step up from yesterday's performance, which was a bit lackluster,
I mean, imagine if Gen G lose this. I think that it would just, like, you're looking at that 2-0 category, and we know already that CFO is in that group, right? I'm trying to think about I mean, I guess I shouldn't spoil the results that have happened also today.
Well, you just did, because everyone knows who's CFO first.
But that just happened. That's different. Maybe, especially if you're in EU, you're just kind of waking up and...
Maybe someone's like, I'm going to watch these other games first. And then Betty's just come in, oh, CFO at 2-0. They're going to put 2 and 2 together. Our audience is very smart.
I should have given a spoiler warning. You are right. You know, we don't have to level anymore.
Okay.
We got the draft at long last. Here we go.
Worth it, and it will be worth it. Yunara's off the board. There goes the Cassiopeia as well. And no Nico support this time as the double mid lane ban from AL.
Now, this is an interesting development with the Cassio ban. It does raise the value of, well, what's your answer to Rise? And so now the question for AL is, do we ban away the Rise? Or do we let Genji have it and say that we've got a solid solution? So what's it going to be?
It would be 4 mid lane bans in total as well. I like that you bring up the Rise again. We talk about picks that are defining World so far, and it is up and available for Chovy.
Okay. Let's find out then. Will this Rise come through? What is it going to be on the side of Gen G? We know that the Jarvan is available. Not really had a lot of success here at Worlds, but it is going to be the Rise. Now, of course, you could just do the Talia. We've seen that many times before. It's solid in terms of what it brings to the game. I do think Rise is just a stronger pick, just because of all the extra HP that you get from the Rod of Ages, the silent threat that you provide. And I mean, if you did watch the CFO match earlier, the use of his ultimate can be game-changing.
Okay. In the meantime, there isn't many poppies yet, Betty. So, it could be interesting. But what is it going to be paired with? I mean, I feel like Tarzan, you put him on anything these days, and he's just playing out of his mind. It's Pantheon we saw yesterday. Now something a little bit more supportive, as I was saying, but it is all about the pairing with the Poppy. And remember, again, it still can technically be a flex. As priority carry, where do we drop with this?
Ooh, that's a great question. I mean, I was kind of expecting Sivir to be quite a high priority pick at this Worlds, but it really hasn't been so far.
I put it as most picked in my pick'ems.
Yeah,
not doing too well.
That's not working out for you right now, buddy.
I should have done something like the Rise or the Talia, which now gets locked in.
Talia going to be secure, kind of as we expected. That Poppy, of course, is a flex pick. We've known Flandre to play it towards the top side of the map before, and could always still be in the support position.
Yeah.
We'll wait and see what direction it ends up being, but...
Whoever did pick ban for this Worlds, the music, take a bow. That music has been
very dramatic.
It has been awesome. Pianists, it has been incredible violins. We've just brought out the orchestra for our pick ban music, and I couldn't be happier. Zinza, I'll bring you back. As it's been picked up rather, and locked in. And now we question maybe a support, maybe engage, pairing here. We've already got good roams, and we've got good setup. Good dive now given over to Gen G.
Oh, absolutely. The Kai'Sa going to come through from Ruler. The backline threat. I mean, I am surprised to see that come through against a Poppy. Like, there's a lot of dashes on the side of Gen G.
Into a Talia Poppy, you're not wrong, Betty.
And in the hands of Tarzan, that could create some crazy interrupts. AL now, though, will they lock in their AD carry here? again, we talked about the flexibility of the Poppy, and there's the Kiana, which will pretty much confirm that this Poppy is definitely not going into the jungle position.
I think so.
Tarzan is going to get his hands on this Kiana, and I'm excited to see him play it. We do consider him the best mid laner in the world right now. And, sorry, mid laner in the world? Jungler in the world. And getting your hands on the Kiana.
It's okay, you saw the Kiana mid, we're going back.
Yeah.
But reason being, right, like, I feel like Tarzan is a big reason as to how they got to this spot, how they got third, and how they got to that top 3 rather in the LPL for summer when we talked about it. Their drop was significant for a team that achieved so much already in this year. Now, Kiana, we already talked about. The Leona's gone away, pairing up with some of these supports. The big question is that just saying, okay, we've already got our support? I mean, we already questioned. The Poppy could be top as well. I just want to add that in there.
No, we mentioned.
But we're thinking as support, so getting rid of some partnerships on the other side.
Absolutely. I'm thinking about what are the supports. Maybe the Miko already banned. Are you worried about it? No. Nautilus, potentially? I'm thinking about good pairings alongside the Kai'Sa. Karma isn't something that you would normally put alongside.
I like your Nautilus mention for the passive. For the second skin.
Oh, Rakan is another good one. Yeah, we have seen Rakan being banned away a few times before.
Yep.
Now the Rumble taken away on the top side of the map. I mean, Gen.G, see, this is the thing. They don't really know. Like, they probably assume that this Poppy is in support, similar to kind of where we're expecting it to be as well.
Yep.
But again, you don't really know if Gen.G pick something like a Cassante. We've seen Poppy be used as a Cassante answer many times before. But now with the Scion ban on the side of Gen.G.
Might get your wish. You talked about wanting to see Sivir more. With the Poppy for disengage, maybe that's just the pairing as well. That can be...
You'd have so much wave clear.
Hope does love Corki though. I mean, Hope, I think, fantastic AD carry, can play scaling. Corki's hit somewhere in the middle right now with how good his skirmishing
It's also just like, it's a very independent AD carry.
That's a better word for it, isn't it?
Yeah, not reliant on having a support to provide that protection. Does provide a little bit of poke as well, which pairs up nicely with the Talia. But again, similar to what we saw in the previous game, like just decent skirmishing whenever you've got something like a Kiana.
Yep.
Also, just both champions can team fight very well. Gen.G though, when we think about the priority that they're going to have in the early game, we talked about that Cassante. I mean, Keen Sante is what we've known this man in the top lane for. It's a champion that's become one of his best. He's a very well-rounded top laner.
Wow, this is a well-rounded comp, I feel.
Ooh, so the question is, where will this Poppy go? I really could see it top lane. They could pair alongside the Corki something like a Rel if they want a little bit more engaged, a little bit more of a front line. Or they could just stick with the Poppy support, which seems to be the plan and direction that they're going with, and then going for a tank answer on the top side of the map. Looks like Flandre is thinking about that Rek'Sai top lane. I haven't really been super sold on the impact of Rek'Sai top yet. Obviously, we did see Doran get a solo kill in the previous game. You know how difficult it is to lock this champion down simply due to the tunnels. And into the Cassante matchup, I think it's perfectly fine. But yeah, here we are. Composition's locked in. Gen.G, they have a lot of dive threat with the Alistar, easy follow-up coming through from the Kai'Sa, decent pick potential and side lane threats thanks to the Rise. A very well-rounded composition. In terms of early game prio, though, you do expect AL to have that advantage, particularly around mid lane and the bot side of the map. This Poppy can be a game changer. The disengage ultimate that it has, the dash interrupts. I mean, look at this. Cassante, Xin, Kai'Sa, and Alistar. Poppy can get value against all of these champions.
Into a Poppy and into, as well, a lot of terrain. Let's not forget the setup that comes from Talia. The interactions that come from a Kiana with that as well. You know, there is actually a lot of synergy in this draft, and it's an interesting draft. It doesn't just feel like it one's run direction, Betty. It feels like it can be a little bit more versatile. But for Gen.G, I see Chovy on something that can scale. I see Ruler on something that has mechanical outplay ability, if that's even a word. I see Gen.G on things that can really take off and hold the game in their favor until they get to their 5v5s. This is what we've been waiting for. This is the matchup we have waited a while for a good reason, so that we can see who's going to be moving to 2-0. out of Gen G, out of AL.
Pero balagbag yung sa AL.
You'd argue that AL the strongest out of the LPL despite not being the top dogs, the top seeds. This has been a good year for them so far. Let's see if they keep that train running against the best team in League in 2025.
LPL support seems strong in the arena today. I mean, why shouldn't you be? Top esports having a strong performance at this tournament as well. It's just the question mark surrounding BLG. AL, I think a surprise to many. I think a lot of people would have put HLE as the favorites. I mean, I put HLE as the favorites into the AL matchup yesterday.
Yep.
And it was a very close game.
It was one of those games you get excited for because both teams kind of ended up just sending it right. It was
absolutely.
It was like that little micro difference, like who's got the better hands, you know, by the 25-minute mark.
Terrifying.
Viper's Kai'Sa was nuts.
It really became
it was
a game
so
of
good.
Will Viper win the game or not?
But maybe Flandre again on the rec side is going to be fantastic too. He was great yesterday. Now he starts off with an armbar onto Canyon. He's relying on the auto. Shanks pokes up with a threaded volley. A 2v2 continues. Ruler backing off as he went for the lane swap up in top. Flandre is going to see him there, and Tarzan goes back to farm.
Looks like Tarzan starting with his Q. The amount of damage that it offers is not the greatest, but the swap coming through from Gen G means that this Kai'Sa gonna avoid what is a difficult 2v2 matchup. We know that the Alistar really doesn't offer a lot in the early levels.
Oh, Canyon's going Wolves straight to bot. He's going to be spotted on a ward on Raptors, Vedi, but this is a different type of path, leaving top cams for now.
Yeah, the thing about it is, so Gen G opting for a similar approach to what we saw in the CFO game, which is to split the map and to try and make the Kai'Sa feel much safer. But now on the top side of the map, this Tarzan is hovering. Kyle looking for a roam into mid lane as well. My goodness, the way they're just passing through the video. Chovy's cautious though. He knows that Kyle is missing on the map. The ping has just come down. I don't even think he spotted him.
He just knows because again, the movement comes up and in an isolated 1v1, Jura also hovering with Canyon just in case.
Okay, so
nicely done.
The reads from both teams already at a very high level. The reset going to come through from Tarzan. Picks up the longsword, makes his way towards the bot side of the map, which means that after this next clear, he can immediately start pathing back up towards the top side. Canyon having to take this somewhat awkward path, but he will now pick up his red buff. Meanwhile, Ruler feeling very safe on the top side, hoping the same position. And
He's not safe in mid though. Juro's coming in, headbutt pulverize. Might be fine as he started walking back on the progression of Juro getting to lane.
Chovy already with the CS lead, and the minion wave is pushing towards him. Shanks.
Kyle's back. He's back. This mid lane is going to be a heavy focus, isn't it? Juro's on the other side.
When you have all these swaps, right, the supports have got a lot of time.
They do.
Andre will grab that cannon minion. Here we go. The Observer's struggling to keep up with
Hello,
all the supports.
Oh my god, sorry.
Looking to make some magic happen on the ref.
I was
Kyle,
facing
level
out.
3. He's a full level up over Duro.
Doom scroll ako habang nanonood ng
Worlds. In quite a while. Started misses, but
typical
does
thing.
not. Seismic shove. Damage onto Chovy's close. Tarzan audacity.
Thank you,
Flushes match. The auto no, it's first blood for
Oh my god,
Chovy.
AL with
Shanks
first
getting the
blood
return.
against
The flash
Chovy.
timing from Chovy was perfect. Remember that when you do the dash into Q on Kiana, that Q will just follow the enemy champion as Flandre gets a knock up.
There is good damage, but for Ruler, he spaces it out. Flandre is going to be able to heal this up, and Ruler's okay as well with Lethal Temple up. Flandre is not continuing the play.
Yeah, I'm hoping we do get a replay of what happened in mid lane, simply because that flash timing really was just perfect from Chovy, forcing the overcommitment from the side of AL, allowing him to trade 1-for-1. Really good stuff there from Chovy. As both these teams already at the start of this game going toe-to-toe.
I mean, there's been so much roaming already, as you said, with the lane swap. Juro's now finally in a lane, so he should absorb a bit of this experience as Ruler got to level 5 solo, and that's why now he's a level ahead of Hope. But it does look like as he moves up to top lane, things are going to continue as...
We look back at this replay as well.
Yeah.
We can see that Chovy, the flash timing was just so exquisite from him. Forcing Tarzan to stay underneath that tower just long enough to be able to trade back.
Never mind that.
And they're able to make it work, so very good stuff from him.
Chovy
The one
pala
on
yun
the
ang
board.
outcome.
And now AL threatening the
Mas
midway once again.
realistic.
Tarzan helping KL, or rather KL helping Tarzan get this invade down too. And Canyon with his strange pathing through early game. meant that they knew this Raptor timing consistently with the ward coverage that AL provided. Canyon does catch up a bit, now gets up to that level 5 himself, and Tarzan, while he has an EXP lead, CS is about to camp behind as he starts dragging off.
Really dragging going to come through from AL, as you highlighted, and now in the 2 versus 1, Flandre has to play a little bit safer. That minion wave not really in the best position. But AL's bot side feeling pretty comfortable, all things considered. Have a nice, healthy CS advantage in favor of Hope. Dragon going to be uncontested, as Canyon really can't do much in this position. They don't have the numbers. First objective secured.
Okay, Dragon's on the board. Let's wait for these grubs, as while the laning phases have been interesting, we're going back to as normal does in some of these lane swaps. Vedius, I am noticing that Keen has benefited quite a lot of having Juro in that early lane. Flandre, however, as he steps back up, he's not going too great in the CS department. It's 20 CS behind, and while this cannon minion is helping him push towards him, get some of that CS, it does feel like AL's top laner is struggling for resources as he picks up the tier map.
So in terms of XP, though, he's in a good spot. He's going to be able to catch this bot wave, and Hope is going to catch this top one. So I think all things considered, AL aren't too upset with the current game state, but you are right. It's Keen that currently sits with the advantage for Gen G. Tarzan with the advantage on the side of AL for now.
And I mean, we haven't talked about it. It's obvious to our global audience, but if you've been under a rock, Keen on Cassante, pretty good.
Pretty good.
I think Orcs would say pretty good, but I can't do an Orcs voice, because I'm Australian. Juro, engage on a KL. Support v support, but Juro's taking the brunt of it. Phosphorus bomb flashed away from. Flash match by Hope with the Gatling gunning. Autos gets a kill, but now in a 2 vs 1 in trouble. Wind becomes lightning, sends him up, and the 3 talent strike. Hope is about to die. Meanwhile, Tarzan's ulti comes off with a good route too, and a seismic shove. Shanks is saving the play with KL, getting a wall hit. Chovy close to dying too with a threaded volley at max range. He runs for his life, but Tarzan helps get that mid laner on the board.
It's AL that come out on top in the skirmish as just a constant back and forth. It starts off with the bot lane of AL just getting a straight up 2v2 kill.
This is going to be a TP flanker. Ruler stepping up to the plate. Shanks with seismic shove range. Juro avoids it, but it did look like we could potentially
in a really awkward spot here. He's very low, hasn't had an opportunity to go back to base. Meanwhile, Hope already pathing towards the bot side. Ruler has done a good job, but remember, there's about a 15 CS difference between the 280 carries, but he's been able to claw that back. We look back at the replay, and it was an engage initially from Duro. The heal is popped very early. Hope then flashes in to follow, securing the kill, but then the Realm Warp allows for Chovy to arrive that much quicker to the fight. The junglers get involved, the mid laners are, and then we're back to live.
We are back to live. Canyon on Tarzan in the pit, forces his flash. Away he goes, and Tarzan now separated from that objective. Gen G picked up 1, now 2, and all 3 grubs come back to life.
Nice setup from Gen G, not really giving AL that opportunity. Shanks staying around on the top side of the map. Now resetting, provided Gen G with the numbers advantage that they needed. Still a very even early game. A small gold advantage, largely because of Kyle, I will admit, but still a very even game state. So right now with no major objective on the map, it's going to be back to farming, focusing on getting these plates where the teams can. And it's an interesting situation because these swaps have really changed the dynamic of like how you can leverage this early power. There's a big reason why pros really love lane swaps in general. It's because you can play those weaker laning champions and get them through what is a rough laning phase. And it's what we saw in that top side is a great example of what this bot lane would have experienced if they played a traditional 2 versus 2. Corki's early power is nothing to scoff at, and it would have made that matchup very difficult. So getting Ruler out of it, and knowing that Keen can play relatively safely in a difficult matchup on the champion as well, meant that overall Gen G had a very safe early game, even if AL had all these pushing lanes.
People also forget about Poppy's base damage, which feels really nice as Keen gets a flick back. Onto Flandre, this is a fantastic trade. Flandre's going to try and heal some of it up, but King gets a couple of grasps out of it as well. With the Sheen, with the armor that is enhancing the Natofo strikes, Keen's going to pick up a plate as well.
Keeping my eyes on Chovy, who keeps moving into that top side fog of war. Threatening the Realm Warp and the possibility of a dive. No full tank just yet from Flandre. Means that he will be susceptible, but we're now back to farming. Supports on the roam once more. Another swap comes through from Gen G. They want to try and punish Flandre, maybe even set up for a dive. There's that Chovy in the fog of war again. The pressure, you can tell.
5 top.
Flandre feels the pressure. Is he going to walk away from this tower, though? There's the round warp.
It's going to come in quick and fast, and with the engage from Duro, Flandre up against the wall, the help from Tarzan. Supreme display of talent stuns too, and Gen.G with all 5 members, 4 in the gang, can't kill Flandre.
TP going to be used to get back to mid lane. Chovy wants to protect as many plates as he can. Now it's AL's turn.
Disengage from Kyle. He's got to keep his vertic out. Duro interrupts for the time being. The shove is not into a wall, so Gen.G, 3 of them, meanwhile, in top are going to run back from the turret. Shanks was here. He walked up. He did not use the wall. And that keeper's verdict, because it was interrupted, goes on a bigger cooldown.
I mean, credit to AL. Sorry, I heard the sound effects and I thought that something else was happening on the rim. My bad, my bad.
Okay, Benny, what were you
My bad, my bad.
Say?
Sorry. Those are the noises I make. Those are my thinking noises.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm glad you clarified. Those are the noises I make. Good one.
Now I'm flustered. Good job.
You flustered me when you said, oh, woo.
The point I was trying to get at was 5 members committed by Gen.G to set up a collapse. We saw a lot of that happening because of Chovy's movements into the fog of war, that constant threat and the use of the Rise ultimate. But AL didn't really get much by responding. We saw Hope get a few more plates on the bot side of the map, but it's not really converted into a huge amount of gold for him. Now the Dragon set up in favor of Gen.G. They've got the better push on the bot side, but Tarzan has arrived. Kyle threatening the river with the level 6 over 5 of Duro means that it's a bit of a risky fight to take on the side of Gen.G. And now it's AL that reclaim positioning, and it looks like they're going to be the ones to start this one off.
Now, quick correction, if we do get a fight, KL does have that ulti up. It looks like it was the spectator bug. With the interruption, he still has it there, and it definitely hasn't been a minute and a half or a minute 40, however long.
Oh,
so
I actually thought that it was cancelled.
I thought it was,
CC
and
cancelled.
I just, unless I have no sense of time, Betty, we'll find that out later. Flandre's just going to tunnel back into top, try and get this cannon wave, while double dragon for AL is a very serious start.
Chovy being in a side lane just means that he opens him up for more farm, but
it's happening in fog of war.
Right now it's Shanks that is kind of Chovying, as now they threaten the dive on the Keen. This is always a risky thing. Diving Keen is no easy feat.
No, it's not, especially on Cassante. Supreme display is there, and
oh my
Tarzan
goodness.
flashes away. Seismic shot connects, Keen responds likewise, but Ruler finds Tarzan before he goes into fog of war himself. Shank's going to poke out, Ruler gets flicked back, but no, a flash away to disengage. Keen still gets poked out, but diving at Cassante, no, Gordon Ramsay wouldn't put that on his menu.
But I mean, it's also diving Keen, and the craziest thing that Keen did in that dive was he CC buffered the Kiana ult.
He did.
Like, the timing on that was absolutely exquisite. Bought enough time for Ruler to arrive, and we've been seeing a lot of swippy swaps from this Gen.G bot lane, moving top, moving bot, but the timing of Ruler's arrival allowed him to pick up his first kill of the game. Gen.G, they weathered the pressure coming through from AL.
They've done a good job of stagnating the early game as best as possible, something we talked about in draft as well. And especially you highlighted at the start, Betty, with the Swippy swap, Ruler has been able to get to his first item a lot quicker. Be in line here with this Corki. And what I'd say is one of Hope's favorite champions at the moment, especially throughout this year. And they're quite even outside of the fact that with that kill, and Ruler, I believe, getting a plate, he is 300, 400 gold ahead. As Coinbase Gold Grind, hello.
Seeing the difference between the two mid laners here, and you can tell how even it is. With the CS advantage going ever so slightly the way of Shanks. The game slows down. We take a moment to breathe as we expect the team fights to be legendary.
Oh, yeah.
Herald are going to be spawning in 30 seconds. Itemization, couple first items completed across the board. I'm looking at Keen though, and I'm like, ooh, that's already a scary Cassante. Will they have the damage to get through? And with the Trinity Force done, you expect Hope to have a lot of damage. And you're now clearing through his jungle. The pressure that AL is putting down is nice. Looks like first tower, and that should be the feats of warfare. Feats of strength secured.
Nice. Okay.
Another small advantage gain for AL.
And again, the only thing they've lost in this game has been those grubs early with the fight with Tarzan needing to flash out. But outside of that, the early game's been strong enough. Shanks is in with a 1k gold lead, having gotten that first turret bot. And as Herald has now started, remember they're is a TP from Flandre if he needs to back or rather reposition. For now, people moving from AL, they are going to be late for this Betty, so I don't know why I'm talking about it.
They're going to be too late.
A Rek'Sai, this is gone.
Yeah, I mean, Gen.G is so fast at starting up these objectives. It's something that I love seeing from top teams where they kind of... Sometimes they start an objective not with the intent of completing it, just to test your responsiveness.
Yeah.
And often, like, if you start it super fast... Ooh, hang on a minute.
Tarzan is fast. Tarzan's real fast. Onto Canyon, who'll get stunned up, and there's a double into the wall. Kale's gone deep, though. A two-man headbutt. Pulverize and Gen.G have torn AL asunder. As Shanks comes in with the Weaver's Wall, he's cut off Gen.G in response. A seismic shove on the Cal, and he goes into the pen. Shanks will pick up that kill while Flandre absorbs top. Keen has just altered, and AL get a response for that Herald.
So AL wasn't happy with how fast Gen.G started that Herald. They said, no, we're going to get something back for that. They move into the enemy jungle. They catch Gen.G unawares.
Use missed. Kale now has no ult for sure this time as last cone taken to get out.
Oh, I mean, I was going to say, like, in a great position. As I noticed, Ruler actually has the gold advantage. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, it's Shanks with a 1.1k gold lead over his lane opponent. Coming into this matchup, I definitely wasn't expecting that to be the difference maker. But right now, it is Shanks and Tarzan that sit with a lot of AL's advantage. Shanks moving off to the side lane. Overall, really nice punish onto Canyon as he tried to secure his blue buff. And you're seeing this like single target chain CC combo that they have available to them. The knockback that's available from the Talia, the CC into the wall from Kyle, the root that comes down from Tarzan. Like the pick potential on this roster feels very scary to have to deal with.
And because Tarzan's wanting control of it, that's what's even scarier. Like, yesterday on the Pantheon, I think was a big reason as to why they won Home Alive, and I feel like every time I talk about Tarzan, it's hard not to be like, well, it feels like this guy's the reason that they got here. It feels like he's the reason they won this game, that game. Like, if you go through LPL, you know why he's the best jungler at the moment, and it's taken years. It's taken the Shy apparently as well as done up against the wall. Tarzan has already popped his ulti. There's the headbutt pulverized from Juro. And KL gets a little bit of damage down, but it's Ruler who gets hit by Hope in the mid lane in the meanwhile. And it's all for this Dragon, which will make number 3 AL healthy enough to continue the contest as Gen.G move to River first.
I mean, they've already gotten the ultimate out from Tarzan, so it's a more favorable fight for Gen.G as the poke is being traded. Tarzan doing what he can. Bases will come through from the top side of the map as Shanks wants to get back to base. Maybe he has an item upgrade. TP gonna quickly come through, and there it is. The Leandri's finished ahead of this fight. Nice purchase. But Keen also on the way.
Tarzan with no ulti. Will they continue? AL in a dangerous spot as Tarzan can't get poke over the wall. Shanks will start off with the threaded volleys as well. Flandre and Tarzan from one angle.
Collapse is looking good. The root from Tarzan doesn't connect. They turn on to Flandre.
The engage is not bad, but Flandre is a tank. He'll take a while to die. The Weaver's Wall spreads thin, but it might actually help Gen.G on the Dragon, trying to burst it down as Ruler who gets into the pit. The poke out in the meanwhile. KL with the disengage. Dragon's exposed. Dragon's exposed and stolen. King gets sent away by KL, and the fight will ensue. Jumping forward is Canyon with now the ulti popped as well. King jumping forward, getting the flip onto Shanks. 2 down, 3 to go as Gen.G look for the chase. They'll find Hope up next as Flandre sacrifices his life to save the rest, but Hope still might not be able to the woods as Ruler follows up with a killer instinct, locks in the triple, and Gen.G lock in.
They call him Keen Sante for a reason. Once Canyon gets knocked out of the pit, there's no smite available, which means that AL immediately look for the fight. But Keen is doing his best to zone them away. 1 versus 2 is making it as difficult as possible for Tarzan, but Kyle with a monster play. Ulti's onto Tarzan though. Keen tries to get pushed out by Kyle. He gets a 3-man knockback. On a Cassante, flashes in, forces the flash out from Hope, and this allows for Ruler to clean up the fight. It is hard to underestimate how much impact Keen had in that fight to allow for Ruler to walk away with a triple kill.
And you look at Flandre at the end, he tries to flash in and, you know, save his 80 carry's life. But it wasn't enough in the end. Ruler held on for so long, 4-0. While third Dragon was stolen, it is the cost of Gen.G scaling that little bit faster.
I mean, Ruler's now 2.1k gold ahead. Like, the setup is complete. Ruler, a man that you can trust to carry games, is now in a position to carry the game. AL are going to have a tough time of shutting him down. But again, we expected the team fights to be crazy in this game. And how tense was that fight? The positioning was absolutely crazy. Kyle finds an angle to get a huge ultimate off onto Canyon. And ultimately it was, like, I've never seen a 3-man knockup like that on a Cassante. Just beautifully played as the top tower falls. And now we kind of enter the state of lull once again. Chovy moving off to a side lane once more. Arakan will likely be the next point of contention, but Gen.G will be hesitant to hand over the soul.
Chovy, he's going to face check. Flandre's got a tunnel out, but here comes Ruler again with a killer instinct. Flandre tries to get out with a number over the wall, and that tunnel won't save his life. Ruler with number 5. Arakan's on the other side of the map, but who's going to burst it down?
Unstoppable now for Ruler. Going to move back over towards the mid lane. It's about a half a level over his AD carry counterpart in Hope. And it feels like this game is already kind of done and dusted, to be honest, with the position that Ruler's in, with the front line that Gen.G have. AL having to navigate through these fights. It's going to be a tough one. Chovy likely going to secure this tower, as it doesn't seem like there's anyone in position to respond. And remember, there was a 1.1k gold lead between the two mid laners. Now it's Chovy with a 400 gold lead of his own.
Yeah, we've definitely been, as Realmwalk comes in, Chovy gets out. That was the edge of it.
Right at the edge. If that root had come through, likely would have resulted in his demise. Flandre now taking over to level 13. He's also a level down. And it's crazy how a single fight has just completely flipped the game on its head. AL are going to have to find a crazy team fight in order to gain some control back over this game. And it's Ruler that they need to find a way to shut down.
For now, 130 till the Salt. If AL are going to be able to stem the bleeding, you know, you talk about the scaling here, how worrisome it is. If AL want to speed the game up again, an earlier Elder, a Soul would do it. Put them back in somewhere near the driver's seat. A minute 15 till that. Arakan could be a trade, but obviously Gen.G, no way they're trading Cloud Soul for Arakan. Flandre's going to move on top. That's a TP as well. Maybe trying to force because you have the leverage of Soul, as AL are committing a lot of resources to controlling top side.
Yung maganda dyan, burst pa siya.
In a minute's time. A lot of vision, you just highlighted it. So much control. Gen.G right now want to
kailangan makapag-carry ni Tarzan.
Tarzan backed. Tarzan actually just backed, so...
No way they can contest.
That's gone.
Unless AL can get a huge Poppy ultimate off, TV's going to come through. They're looking to contest this, but it's already gone. Too little, too late. Arakan locked in for Gen.G.
Oh, but Shanks is really fast. I believe seen in the vision there at that point. Ticket seismic shot though, almost connecting. Canyon just out of the way. A close call, but no Cigar is onto Keen. I don't know how you're going to kill the Cassante without the Corki nearby. Shanks needs one big pick as TP comes in from Chovy. It's a 5v5 around mid. Now highlighting the Drake in 15.
Soul could be the difference maker. It is AL that have control of the river, but they've completely exposed this mid wave, and Ruler's going to melt it. Off the back of that, Flandre has to go and answer, and now Gen.G have gained purchase on this bot side. You'll notice as well, Chovy going the long way around. Ruler is quick behind him. They're not even going to bother contesting this. Instead, they're just going to come in through the bot side. Chovy now in a great flank position with his ultimate available, and Keen on the left side. Gen.G with a nice setup. AL, how do they approach this?
They're asking the same question. Dragon going to be started again. Gen.G using Ruler, but he doesn't commit for the time being. Juro's taking a little bit of poke, but that's all it is. A little bit here from anyone's Legends. As Chovy hovers around the outside, there's the Weaver's Wall to separate. Looking for the pick. Keen separates two, but the Poppy will only find one. It's onto Chovy for now, running in towards the Dragon, but it's at 4k. It ain't stealable as Keen pops the ulti. The all out there. He is getting poked down, and Shanks is sending away to the Supreme Display. Will find the mark on the side, and Ruler jumped in to a Poppy with a steadfast presence. Dragon stolen, and the fight for AL taken away. Kyle, this pick pays dividends.
The arena erupts as AL shut down Gen.G in the fight. They needed to find the fight to turn this game around, and what a way to do it. Keen on the flank is their target. They're trying to chunk him out as much as they possibly can. Shanks is cautious of Chovy on the flank. This ultimate separates the fight, making it difficult for Ruler and Chovy to get involved. Canyon goes in, he gets chunked out. Oh, Ruler also gets caught off in the Kyle ulti, so he feels confident to go into the fight. Keen gets chunked out, he's forced to disengage. Chovy gets good damage. Ruler sees an angle when Duro goes in, but then he gets knocked up. The reaction by Kyle. The Baron is secured as well. And just like that, AL's team fighting, they showed it to us yesterday. They showed it at MSI. They're just an incredible team fighting team. But Kyle, what a beautiful performance on the Poppy.
It must sting Gen G to be denied by the Gen G Challenger support of 2021. The Live Sandbox, the now AL. This guy's developed this year. If you saw him last year in anyone's legend, you'd think, yeah, he's mid-tier, maybe even towards the bottom tier. Now KL, regarded as the best support in the LPL for a reason, the development arc of this guy you haven't heard about, but now you must. In this Poppy, at 7 out of 8 KP, in this one game versus Gen G, AL, because of him, have now secured the soul. The Baron you mentioned before, gold is even, but the fights are feeling more confident from the LPL second seed.
Gotta still be careful. TP flank from Key. This is a deep flank coming through.
Tarzan going first. Kyle with the ulti again. Finds another market. Chovy once more. Jura getting burnt out with the ult from Canyon. He'll be isolated and everyone can jump in with ease. Flandre's now joined in as well and Gen G have immediately lost two. The Flash of Roll are gone as well. As Shanks Weaver's wall won't find a target. It's still another big win for AL.
The TP I think was too deep and Gen G went in too aggressively. The TP gets zero value off the back of that. Another tower will be secured. And look at how the momentum has shifted. It is AL that is driving forward this game.
We're worried about the scaling, we're worried about Gen G weathering the storm, but there's a new one approaching for AL, Vetti.
How has Tarzan held on to a gold lead this entire game? He was like 0-2
it's Tarzan,
for most
baby.
of the game.
It's Tarzan. He's been fundamental as well, but
I mean, his ultimates have been good. There's no question about it. But really, like, Kyle is the MVP of this game without a shadow of a doubt. The ultis that he has been connecting, the follow-up, like the stuns into the walls that he's been able to find. Even, we go back to, like, the top play that happened between the two bottom lanes. It is he that is finding so much magic for this AL squad. This Keen Sante, I was worried for AL. It felt like that he was an immovable wall that just would not be stopped. But now it feels like that they found a weakness in the armor and they're continuing to press forward. The Baron still remains strong, 20 seconds left. Another tower soon to fall, but the rest of Gen G quickly arrive.
Hoke is big as well. Let's not forget Hope as Keen and Chovy back off and the turret goes down with it. 3,000, now the lead. The base has not been cracked off this Baron power play though. I'm sure Red Bull might get another one here at 4.5K. That has been the influence that AL have taken away from it. 2 minutes till Elder, 3 till another.
And while it might just be a best of one, it is really important to recognize that the LPL was, the expectations coming into this tournament was doubt. I heard from LPL experts that they were not super confident on the LPL coming into this tournament. But for AL to get a win over HLE and Gen G to move to 2-0, I mean, that's got to change a lot of perspectives here at this World Championship.
It would join CFO and for AL.
And Top Esports, remember?
And
Top
Top
Esports sitting at 2-0, 2 LPL teams.
I'm so used to Top Esports at internationals. I just still couldn't believe it.
I mean, it's the first seed that right now, we'll see how they perform in the next matchup.
BLG have got a lot to say, a lot to do rather.
But perhaps it was just a forced first game jitters. We'll have to wait and see. In any case, again, just the best of one. We've seen Gen G drop games to AL before, and I wouldn't just suddenly assume that Gen G is not favorites in the tournament. But again, a statement performance, and it really does show AL, they were considered one of the best team fighting teams in the world before. And this game is really reminding you as to why. We're getting ready for our next objective. 47 seconds until the Elder Dragon. You can see it at the top left of your screen. Chovy gonna push out that top wave. Level 17 on the rise. Death cap completed for him. The arm guard finished for Shanks. Gonna be a valuable purchase. But pretty much everyone across the board. 3 items, 4 items as well for Ruler. Don't count him out just yet. He fumbled the last team fight, but so close to level 16. If he can get that 3rd point in the ultimate. Nice juicy upgrade, that's for sure.
Tarzan makes his position known. AL hold control over this river this time. 15 seconds, the Elder's up. Flandre, another entry point guarded well. As Juro looks for his angle. For Gen.G, 1 team fight is all it takes at this point in the game. Canyon with a flank, but found by Tarzan. The burst, enough as well to put him to half HP.
That is all he needs to do. Now, Canyon has to make a decision. Does he fight with 50% HP, or does he choose to reset? Very nice play from Tarzan, not overcommitting. He's trying to heal on the Wolves, and he will get a decent amount of HP back.
Not all of it, but most of it. Shanks keeps sending out the poke, plenty of mana to continue on. And as you said, Hope is going to do this quick.
Canyon on his way over. The ulti, beautiful from Shanks.
And
how does Gen.G get in?
The timing's great. Maybe with a Realm Warp to one side of Chovy by himself. Keen jumping in first hand. KO guards the entrance, and Elder's taken. Anyone's legend. Turn for the fight. As Gen.G got to run. They might take Flandre, but with Elder, it's a buff to beat the rest. 1 for 1. Keen getting poked. The flash. Kyle gets close. Keen's 1 step away from dying. But first, Canyon will go in the coffin then. Juro, as he runs. Missing out, you say, hey, doesn't matter. Tarzan finds another, and AL steps away from the base.
Exquisite execution once again. The ultimate from Shanks to cut Gen.G's approach off, securing the Elder Dragon and converting it into the fight. TP from Shanks, returning to the mid-wave. The TP from Kyle. They have the Nexus in their eyes. They're looking to take down the best team in the world.
It looks like Kyle has committed parricide, as Juro is just another target. Brawler was fed the hope of Gen.G, but even he is not enough. In China, AL will soar, and once again we are reminded that Tabe is the greatest LPL coach that has ever lived.
Grabe yun.
Coach that has ever lived. Tabe is the greatest LPL coach that has ever lived.
The underestimated AL came out swinging in today's matchup as they got the better of Gen.G in the most important team fights. A rivalry that continues to grow as this as they got the better of Gen.G in the most important team fights. A rivalry that continues to grow as this is the second LPL team to go 2-0 here at Worlds.
How does he keep turning these teams around? I don't know, but the desk is going to tell us how that one burned the house down for AL's 2-0.
Well, it's cinematic moments. I doubted Raz,
he said it.
He was right. It was looking doomed. Man. They were looking lost. The early game was good, but then Gen.G did the Gen.G thing. They won the fight, and suddenly they were rich, but it wasn't enough.
It's a Hollywood film. It's a Hollywood film. Quentin Tarantino made this one.
You know what? I love how great they played. I love the outcome. I just hate that they proved Raz right.
Raz was on some bullshit, but for sure.
Lost. And I feel like this moment, it was in unison with great setup from the Weaver's wall, and it ends up splitting Gen.G so effectively. So the call ends up being Bruno and Chovy want to be with the rest of the team, so the Realm Warp comes through to move them, but we get a snipe from Kyle, knocking them to the other side, and then it's a little bit desperate from Gen.G to try and reposition. Ruler then sees an angle to ult in, to find a way with Duro to go in, and look at the steadfast presence to catch him. Immediate